Welcome to Stockdogs Unleashed. Get ready for another episode where we dig deep into ranching life and the world of the working dog.
From the ups and downs of handling cattle to training the perfect stock dog, we're sharing it all.
We'll be telling some crazy stories, offering tips and tricks, and of course throwing in a little bit of humor along the way.
Whether you're working on the ranch or just love hearing about it, there's something here for everyone.
So sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get this episode rolling. All right, welcome back. We're lucky enough, I begged Mr. Pete Paris to come down and visit with us and give us his experience on the job training, and I'm very grateful that he came. So welcome to Stock Dogs Unleashed, Pete. I'm happy you're here.
Well, I guess thanks for having me. I never thought I'd be somebody that needed to be on any kind of podcast or whatever.
Oh, heck. Yeah, I imagine you're experienced enough. You got at least a few good stories anyways.
Well, I've got a lot of stories. I don't know how good they are, but
That's good.
Yeah, and
You should swing that barrel around there, Trav, on your side, whatever, his side.
Yep.
And that way you got a little something to set that on.
perfect. So I've told stories about you, but I'm happy. I want people to know about you and out there. And how'd you get in? Like your family, you started ranch. Have you always been grown up on the ranch, or how'd that come about?
no, well, I was born and raised in Butte Valley, Nevada, which is 2 valleys over from on the other side of Ruby Valley. And I've been ranching all my life and never really wanted to do anything else. Even today, if I could do it all over again, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then are you primarily in cattle, sheep? What do you run?
Well, right now I'm just pretty much strictly cattle. I was straight sheep, and then our neighbor's ranch became available, and I always we were cattle and sheep at home. At my time, it started out strictly sheep, and then it kept expanding and expanding. By the time I was big enough, we were running, at one time I remember, like 7,000 sheep and about 700 head of mother cows. And through the BLM years and stuff, things started. But even when I moved away, there was 7 kids in our family. My grandfather had 2 sons, and we had 7 kids between the 2 families. There was 5 in mine and 2 in the other one.
Wow.
So I figured I wanted to do this. I needed to go jump on my own canoe and
Paddle like hell.
just start paddling.
So what did that look like? What did you do to go out on your own?
Well, first, my grandfather came here as a sheep herder, and he herded sheep for 9 years and bought a little handful of sheep and homesteaded some ground, and then just bought a little place here, a little place there, and created what was the Paris Ranch in Butte Valley by the time I was old enough, or to remember, whatever. And then our family, then he had a nephew that he helped buy a ranch in Austin, Nevada, and they made a partnership out of it. And when I got married, it was like, I could see that sooner. I was the oldest of all the kids, so
Okay.
sooner or later, there's going to be way too many people for that. Even for the size of the ranch it was going to be not big enough for everybody. So
Yeah.
there was an opportunity over there they gave me an opportunity to go over there and manage the sheep end of it for a while. In the beginning, when I was young, like all kids, I wanted to be a cowboy. I didn't want to be a sheep herder.
Yeah.
And I know one time my dad was talking out loud, and my dad ran the cattle, and my uncle ran the sheep, and my grandfather ran everything. Other than he never told my dad nothing about the cows. My dad used to always feel kind of neglected because he says, "You never tell me, are the cows good? Are they bad? Oh yeah, you do a good job. You do a good job." When it comes to sheep, my poor uncle wasn't quite as lucky because he critiqued those.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And he stayed with the sheep. He never spent much time around the cows. He was 90 years old and still spend his winters on the desert with some sheep herder.
Really?
Yeah. He died a sheep man. He didn't. Because there was nothing else in the world besides sheep for him. And
Did he run dogs?
no. There was dogs all the time, but our version of a good dog when I was a kid is a barking dog. And you could make a dog, they used to clap their hands. I remember the sheepherders used to clap their hands and tell the dog to bark.
Oh, really?
And barking dogs made sheep turn,
Yeah.
do stuff. If my grandfather caught a dog biting a sheep, I guarantee you the dog might not have got it in trouble, but I guarantee you the guy that owned the dog was
Really?
and some deep problems. Yeah.
Well, and you got it's Bask is your heritage.
Yes, our family
Bask
come
is-
from the Basque country between the Pyrenees Mountains of France and Spain. So,
Really?
Yeah, and they're known to have pretty short tempers.
yeah, short tempers or lack of patience or whichever. But
Yeah.
my grandfather was phenomenal, though. He had patience like you couldn't believe till he didn't. You know, I was 30 years old when he died, and I probably seen 3 come aparts maybe in them 30 years that I was around him. But the rest of the time, he had this phenomenal patience with people, with livestock, he was one that you write the thing about turn the other cheek. He always turned that other cheek. And I guess my grandmother passed away before I was born. She was been dead 6 or 7 years before I was even born. But I understand that my grandmother was a Spitfire. She had the
Fire in her.
fire, and I guess probably some of the only problems that her and my grandfather's marriage is she could not stand him turning that other cheek. She would like get after him, like, why do you let people do this to you? She just.
That's
So
great.
I guess that was where I really regret not getting to know her because I think I would have enjoyed her. I've tried to picture myself maybe as some like my grandfather, and I know I have some of the stuff they say my grandmother had. I always want to be a good, honest person, but I really struggle at turning the other cheek.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to treat everybody with the proper respect, but I really struggle at turning the other cheek.
Yeah.
I don't do that
Well,
very good.
it's a good thing. So
I don't know if it's good or my grandfather was extremely popular, so I don't see the rest of our world being as popular as he was.
Really?
He when he'd go to town, he used to have bass festivals and stuff, you know. In White Pine County, he used to have an annual bass picnic, and my grandfather would be there, and it was in his 80s, 78, 80s, and people would just come and sit for hours, and nobody ever called him by name. He was Grandpa, whether it was a BLM guy or a Forest Service guy, or
Really?
if you got introduced to him, you'd be introduced to him as meet Grandpa.
Yeah. So he had a lot of grandkids running around there, basically.
Everybody in the world called him Grandpa. He was
that's cool. And so when you growing up and him having those barking dogs for the sheep, like out of not tearing up wool or biting them, and you like a strong dog. It seems like.
I learned to like dogs later. I guess we always had a dog. My dad had a good cow dog that was. We used to cake cows in the wintertime. Our cows lived on the desert, but the cows would come to the truck for cake.
Okay.
We'd feed them cake. My dad would spend the winters in what we call cow camp, which was a cow camp, and he'd go out every morning. There was 500 head of cows and 2 pounds of pellets per cow, so you had 10, 12, whatever that equation is, for sacks of pellets. And there might be 30 cows here and 30 cows there, 50 here, a big bunch, 200 head, whatever was around. But there's a certain time of the day that the cows, like sunup or after sunup, when the sun, even now I notice when we feed cows, a lot of days cows love the sun on a cold winter day, and the sun comes up and there's a good sun. They'll park sideways to that sun, and even they know as much as they like that cake. Well, my dad didn't want to sit there and wait for them to get done sunning, so he always had a good dog that he'd send this dog out around them cows and bring them. They'd come to the pickup. He'd call them. He'd call the cows and send the dog, and You can sun after you eat cake.
you give it
That was the only dog that we were around other than the sheep herders. My grandfather always had a dog that was older than he was. I mean, he loved her as a pet, and she was an old border collie called Rosie. And my dad had gone to some AI, or not AI so much, but preg checking, and he used to take out all the cancer eyes and stuff at the ranch. And anyway, this old dog ended up with a cancer eye, and my grandpa told my dad, he says, "Oh, you got to take that eye." And my dad says, "I can't take that eye. If you can take an eye out of a cow, you can take an eye out of that dog." He says, "I don't think you're not going to kill that dog." She was so old. He was old, and she was old, and she'd put her front feet open the door, and she'd put her front feet to the floorboards, and Grandpa would grab her by the butt and pick her up, put her in the truck till the day she died.
Oh, that's neat.
So did he take the eye?
I think they did. I can't really remember for sure now, but I think my dad took the eye out.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome.
But she was just, for him, basically moral support. I didn't.
Yep.
It was, other than that one cow dog for that purpose, we didn't really have a lot of dog stuff going on then. And then later, when the border collies and stuff started getting popular, a lot of people were, you hardly can't make a border collie bark. So we really didn't like a border collie that much in sheep can, because it is really funny now, because all these people now with sheep have them guard dogs.
Yep.
And biggest thing on the guard dog's barking. I like our sheep, or David Little sheep now that took over our sheep. He's got those guard dogs there, and you drive up with a pickup, and them dogs will just 7 dogs just making a ruckus, and them sheep will just sit there and chew their cud. They don't even, a barking dog to them now is like totally worthless.
Yeah, so that's interesting as can be that you used to move them that way.
Right. Before it was the best sheepdog we had is a barker that maybe you could get him to go out there a little ways and roof, 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 and them sheep would all turn.
Really?
And just start.
So how did you protect your sheep back then?
Government trappers and shooting coyotes, and there was no
people out there all the time.
Yeah, just trying to get sheep herders to learn how to shoot. And
really,
that was a challenge. The sheep herders would go through boxes and boxes of shells and never bring you a dead coyote. Their way was, if the coyotes started howling, they'd step outside the camp door and boom, boom, shoot bullets in the air, thinking that was going to scare them away.
Shoot the next door neighbor herder as well.
They're generally not killing sheep when they're howling.
Yeah.
And you were getting them from, like, the sheep herders primarily are Peruvians, is that right?
Well, when I was a kid, it was all Bask sheep herders.
Oh, really?
I was a senior in high school before we got our first Peruvian.
Oh, really?
Right. Before that, it was all Bask. And early, when I was really young, it was all family. My grandfather had several brothers and sisters over there. He brought, I don't know how many nephews over here to herd sheep and help the one over here.
I was going to say, when just listening to my wife was raised by her grandma.
Okay.
So my mother-in-law was, she died at 91 just a couple of years ago. But say 6-8 years ago, when her memory was real good, I was talking to her a lot. And at one point, her and her husband, to pay off their land, they decided to invest heavily into sheep. And they picked up the major amount of land around the valley, and they leased year round. And they would go from the deserts in the south and wrap around to the east and start heading up into the mountains. And then by the fall, they were clear up in the mountains, and then they would literally come straight down and head south again to lamb in the spring in the desert.
Right.
But she didn't say anything about guard dogs, border collies, nothing. But you talk to all of my wife's uncles, her children, they all spent their childhood living in the mountains, and they'd go drop off 4 or 5 of their kids, and they would live up there for 3 weeks, and they would leave a pile of food, and they just lived with the sheep because they had a story. He just kind of interrupt, but the one uncle, he was the youngest of the 3 kids they left on the mountain, got sick, and I can't remember, but he ended up having some kind of appendicitis, or I don't even know what, but it was a deathly sickness that he got. But the two older brothers said, all right, head to the ranger station and call mom and dad, tell them you're headed off, and then head down the road and head home. And he's like, okay. And he didn't feel good, and he tootled off through the trees, and he made it to the ranger station. And at the time when they picked up anybody in town that was on phone, everybody could hear each other.
Yeah.
And he told the lady at the store, tell my mom and dad I'm sick and they need to come get me. I'm headed off the mountain. And by the time they got the message and headed up, he was at the bottom of the mountain. And he spent the next 3 weeks in the hospital, almost died.
Yeah.
But that was the lifestyle back then. They just they just took their kids up there, and they were in charge of keeping, and they had like 3,500 head of sheep, and the kids all had rifles and followed the sheep around. It blows my mind.
I've seen and heard a lot of that in Utah. I don't know if it's the LDS side of it or that's their culture kind of thing. Because for me, I don't know nothing about sheep without Bask tied to it.
Yep.
I mean, when I was born, every employee on the ranch, first of all, the valley was 50 miles long, and there was 3 families in it. Mm-hmm. One of them, 12 miles to the north, belonged to the South Fork Indian Reservation, and there was an Indian family up there. And 40 miles to our south, our cousins, which were just like I was, sheepmen and the Uwaldis, they lived on the south end of the valley. And when I was born, there was nothing besides Bask sheep herders and Bask sheepmen. The only English influence I had before I went to school is my uncle married an American woman.
Really?
Yeah. And my mother, that's the funny story about how my mom and dad, my mother came from the old country also. My dad was born here. But my aunt, my grandfather had an older daughter. He married a widow. He was a bachelor and married a widow with a 7-year-old daughter that he raised. And she was my aunt. She loved my grandpa, and we all loved her. There was no segregation there. But she got married, and her husband were working for my grandfather on the ranch. And she was 7 years older than my dad and my uncle, so that they were still just out of high school and young. And they were living, when my aunt married my Uncle Don, which was an American from Utah, and my grandfather bought the next door neighbor cow ranch and put my uncle taking care of that ranch because he was a ranching experience and cowboy. So my aunt got sick, and she spent 4 months in the hospital, lost a kidney, almost died. And they had 2 little boys. And it just so happened in the time when she first got sick, they were trying to take care of these 2 little 6 and 7-year-old or 7 or 8-year-old boys running around the ranch. And basically everybody was a bachelor that way because my aunt was in the hospital. And one of my grandfather's sheep herders' sister came to this country and was going to work in a boarding house. But she wanted to visit her brother, so she come to Butte Valley, Nevada to visit her brother. And when she come over there and visited her brother, when she was done visiting, she was headed back to get her. She had a job lined up in Reno. My grandfather says, how important is this job? He says, we could use a nanny here really bad to take care of these 2 little boys. I guess she kind of played with them and stuff too, and they were, and anyway, my grandfather talked her into stay until my Aunt Grace got out of the hospital and take care of these 2 little boys. And well, I guess maybe her and Dad got other ideas because she took care of the boys, and next thing you know, her and Dad were deciding to get married.
Oh, really? Heck yeah.
He might have had some ideas there.
Yeah, so it was probably a great thing that happened.
Yeah.
My mom was pretty special too. She a hardworking woman. Oh my God, she just barely died here about 3 years ago. She was 97. Yeah.
Oh wow. Wow.
That's a good life.
Right. Yeah. She lived her last 5 years with us here at G.
Oh, really? That's neat.
My dad died in 2013. He was sick for 5 years. He went through cancers and Alzheimer's and you name it. And after he was gone, she was living alone, but then she kind of lost her purpose. She quit, didn't like to cook. She cooked so much all of her years,
Yeah.
but she didn't like to cook for herself, and she was not eating and not doing stuff. And we finally told her, I don't want to move to town. I don't want to. She had a little place in town after her and Dad, they sold the ranch and they moved to a little farm community outside Ely behind the fairgrounds there. And
Okay.
little alfalfa fields. But my mom didn't want to,
She didn't want to go to town.
I says, we got the perfect apartment. You can live there. You can come and go as you please. You can do whatever you want. So that's what she did for the last 5 years while she was.
That's super neat.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's neat. And
but going back to the dogs, dogs were not an important thing till when I got out on my own and I started, and I'd never been very far away from Butte Valley. I didn't learn we didn't go no place to learn, the true cowboy way and the Bermudas and all them. I mean, we were cow people, and my dad and them, they were good cow people, but we wasn't, just a true cowboy.
Yeah,
Didn't
the
have to be
stereotypical cowboy.
right. You
Yeah.
didn't have to have a spade bit, and you didn't have to have shaps every time we rode.
That kind of sounds like me.
Right. But we rode. My dad and them made good horses. Basically, we lived our life chasing Mustangs. When we were kids, we chased more Mustangs, catch Mustangs, break them. Good ones we put in the cowboy string, and the other ones went to sheep
Really?
camp.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And fantastic, because all them slower, easy-going horses and kind of big platter-footed ones and stuff, they made the best mountain horses and just putsy, take that sheep herder wherever he needed to go.
Yep. I've done a fair bit of riding Mustangs. My first 3 horses were Mustangs that were just brought in off the range. So like in the Uinta Basin over there, the BLM will round them up and sell them, but it's an adoption program, right?
Right, they have that here too.
We have the tribe there. The Ute tribe will round them up off their reservation, and they're just horses. They sell them, and they can do whatever they want. They don't have to go by the regular laws, So the first 2 or 3 horses I had were wild Mustangs that we bought off the Indian auctions.
Right.
And honestly, that's it isn't the normal cowboy way, but it's a hell of an experience to take a wild horse that wants to bite you, and man, you can turn them around and have a pet in your pocket that will do anything for you.
They go from strike you, bite you, kick you, whatever it is, to never believe that they was ever that way.
Yep, exactly.
And there's exceptions to all of them. We'd seen some that never did want to be friendly or get broke or stop kicking or stop. One thing I never saw, and I've seen quite a few Mustangs, is a bucking Mustang. An outlaw bucker. They bucked and they crow hopped and they done a lot of things, but I've never, in my 50, 60 years of whatever being around Mustangs, I've never seen an outlaw Mustang, one that would just buck you off for no reason or, just ride all day and try to buck you off on the way home.
No outlaws,
No outlaws.
So tell me this. We had a guy, the very first horse my parents went to buy for me, and I was like 13. And the guy gave him some advice, and it seemed to ring true for us. He said, look for the 1.5 to 2-year-olds because they've been shunned from their mother,
right,
but yet they are not coming into heat yet. So the mares shun them and the stud shuns them, and they're kind of desperate for attention.
Right.
They're that age. And he said, buy a yearling to under 2 years old before they start coming into heat. And we did that. And I tell you what, I was on the back of mine within a week and a half. And all I had to do was pet her. And she was like, oh my Lord, I haven't seen attention like this,
right.
And it just kind of worked out for us. But I don't know what you're.
But we never ever kept mares. We, we always done whatever we caught. We sold the mares, cut the geldings, made either ranch horses.
Yep.
Like I said, either a cowboy horse or a sheepherder horse.
Yep.
You got two choices when you come from there. So they
was you just running them down and roping them?
Yeah. we used to have an old 52 Chevy car that we cut the cab off and put a roll cage around it for a tie-off thing. And it was always putting the fan through the radiator or something. We hit a wash and the fan would poke a hole in the radiator. And we finally got this brainstorm. We took a 30-gallon hot water heater, old hot water heater, that took the tank out of it, put it in the trunk. But the trunk was already gone, but just where the trunk was, mounted it in there with big straps or put it in correctly. Then we took the heater hoses and run from my dad got that brainstorm because our light plant used to run off of a 200-gallon water tank. It didn't have a radiator either. It just had a 200-gallon tank with water that circulated.
Cycled.
Yeah.
And that's what kept that light plant cool. So Dad was like, this has got to work. So he put the 30-gallon hot water tank. We took the fan off, left the water pump in it. Didn't have to worry about the fan going through the radiator no more. Excuse me. And that gave us traction, and then we had tire chains on it. And we used to, you could see brush flying for.
And you're chasing horses down in a car.
It chased them down in this car and rope them, tie them down.
No
6
shit.
or 7 tied down. And they spent the rest of the day going home trying to get them home.
Wow.
And a lot of times we'd have either the car would be round up a bunch, and bring it, and then we'd have cowboys sitting there, kids, brothers, friends, and everybody wanted to go chase mustangs in them days. It wasn't illegal. I mean, didn't become illegal till 1973 or whatever. So it was a hell of a blast. And then
I'll bet.
the stories afterwards and laugh, and Dad would scream at us, and it just
That
get in
sounds
trouble
amazing.
I know one time I was roping, Dad was driving. I couldn't catch cold. I was trying to rope this horse out of the back of that thing. And I'd throw and I'd miss, and I'd throw and I'd miss. Pretty big Dad screaming at me. Well, the more he was screaming at me, the more I'd miss. I finally caught it, and he was worried we were going to run out of gas. And anyway, I finally caught it. I was so give out, I just plopped in the seat. The passenger was in the passenger seat. It was tied off hard and fast, and I just caught it. I plopped down on the seat. Dad slams on the brakes. Well, I dropped all my coils and everything. Next thing I know, I'd stepped in them coils. My foot's up there, tied hard and fast in the roll cage. Dad's chewing me out for, what the hell was you doing with that now? What's that all about?
Shoot.
That's a wild story.
That is wild.
That's awesome.
But that was our fun. I mean, now people go team rope or whatever you're gonna go do.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's game enough to do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, you probably, if somebody finds out, they're going to start watching you anyway. But
Yeah,
they couldn't do it today, but it was.
My father-in-law, it was very much illegal when they would go do it, but they would take a horse trailer half loaded with horses out to the Book Cliffs, and then they'd get to chasing them mustangs, and they'd play for a week but their favorite ones, if they thought they could make any money on it at all, they'd rope him down and saddle that sumbitch and get a halter and lead rope on him, and then drag him into the trailer, tie him up with the rest of the horses. That way, when they were headed back to town, they'd have a horse trailer full of horses, and every one of them had a damn saddle on it. And so if they got pulled over, they was just like, oh yeah, that's my
good one.
That sweaty pile of crap. He's been running all day, But yeah, they'd sneak them into town with saddles on their back because how they had to do it.
We had a horse permit too before the BLM, start protecting them and stuff, and then they took everybody's horse permits and stuff away from them. But we had a pretty good stretch of time to gather, and you could claim all these horses. Well, we tried to claim every horse in the valley, and then too is about the time when snowmobiles were starting to get popular. So we'd take my dad, one of our first dual-tired, big 150 horsepower tractor. It wasn't an old farmall.
Yeah.
Dad would take the little bumper pull horse trailer, and we'd put like 1 or 2 horses in it, a couple saddle horses with saddles, and a couple Judith horses too, or whatever. And he'd run out from the ranch out to the desert, and then we'd go out with these snowmobiles, and we'd round all these horses up, and that turned out just like dogs too. you got to break the horses.
Yeah.
I mean, if you crowd them too much, they blow up. If you do, I mean, you train them horses, and when you start them horses and turn them when they were wrong and leave them alone when they're right and doing all those things pretty quick, you put 20 head of horses in a pile, and then we'd get them to go down wherever that tire tracks were. And we used to get a lot of snow in Butte Valley. So once they got on that trail, they didn't want off of it. So then we'd put them horses on them trails, and we'd get right below the ranch, and the big meadows were down on the flat. It was up against the bench and then down. When we started getting close to the ranches of them fields, them horses never were around there. You know, they were always outside. We'd kick them horses loose. The Judas horses.
The
saddle horses,
yep.
Judas horses. And then we had one or two, and then we'd dump a snowmobile and get on a horseback, and anything that really blew up or whatever, we'd rope them there. And we got them to the point where you could run them right into them old saddle horses. We keep them hungry. You know, they'd only get fed in the night, and then tomorrow morning they'd be hungry, and they'd spend all day in that horse trailer, and they were headed for the ranch. And these old Mustangs now, they're just trotting, happy to, you know, they're kind of defeated,
getting led somewhere.
Yeah, and you could run them right into the ranch with them.
So you actually had a permit for so many horses you could catch a year, or a certain season you could catch as many as you wanted.
No, it was when we'd done it that way. It was after they took the permits away, and we claimed all these horses, which a lot of them were horses that had got a. That was the other thing. My grandfather was when he was in the French army, he rode a team. He pulled a cannon. He rode one horse, and they had a set of team on the cannon. But he was a horseman. He rode the horse and pulled this cannon to wherever they was going. They pull a pin on it, and he'd get off to the side, and they'd fire the cannon. He'd wheel back around, back his team in there, and on to the next fight. So then when they started putting up hay, I remember as a kid too, it was all with teams. But the team horses, my grandfather, I don't know where he got the idea, but he started putting thoroughbred studs. He'd go out and buy a fancy thoroughbred stud and put it on a team and make these big horses, because them teams were so slow, the mowing machines wouldn't sickle fast enough for it.
Oh.
Because these were slow.
Yep.
But you put them thoroughbreds on there with some spunk, and that old sickle bar would just roll. But they had to change horses 3 times a day instead of, they used to change, you know, noon and night, or morning and noon, and this and that. But them old, and I remember as a little kid too, my mom taking down, my dad was cutting hay. My mom took him a snack or whatever, and that they stopped, and that old team was white with froth, and water was dripping off of his Peter, just sweating. But then they were, so then that's where we ended up having such a big horse permit, because we horses have always been a big part of our family.
Yeah.
And then so you going out on your own, you found a need for some dogs. How'd that come about, where you're like, you know what, I need a dog? And because I know you have a passion for it.
After I left, and then I started being around people who wasn't family.
Yeah.
And I started seeing people with dogs, and some people's dogs was like, man, that's cool, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you move away from your little kennel, I call Butte Valley that was my kennel.
Yep.
But when I got out in the big world, it was all way different. And then I started, I like this guy. I don't like that guy's style. I mean, I don't like the person, but I see some of these guys too. They're loading cows here just a few years ago too, and they just put a pack of dogs in that lead up, and the blood's flying everywhere, and the cows is on the fight. And I don't know. That's
not what you like.
There's a better way to load a cow than that way.
Yep.
Tore off ears and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So then I just started learning from there, but I didn't understand it, and I'm a slow learner. I'm not a guy that I got to have a cold. Anyway.
Oh, you're all right.
I always watch. Once I learn something from somebody with a dog, then I don't always have a hard time implementing it, but I start learning to understand.
Yep.
And I didn't understand the border collies, and my dad and them cussed the border collies too. All they want to do is, and then they're always in the gate, and they're always this and always that. And then later on, I started watching these videos, and this guy says, he says, you know, everybody that cussed the dog for being in the gate, he says, if you'd have got on the other side of the gate, the dog wouldn't have been in the gate. If you'd have been in the gate, the dog wouldn't have been in the gate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep. I mean,
Yep.
That's a border collie. If you want the cow to go through the gate, you better go through the gate in front of it.
Yep.
And let the dog bring the cow through the gate. Otherwise, she's planning on bringing you the cow.
Yep. Yep.
And then I started learning that aspect of them, and then from there on, it was just go.
Yeah.
Trial.
I just posting videos here and there on social media. I get told that more often than anything else. I get told is, well, get out of the gate and them cows would have came. Yeah. You know, I'm like, well, my cows need to get used to walking past me or around me. Right. Yeah. But I'm letting that border collie bring them, you know. Right. And it's another concept. It's completely different. It's foreign to a lot of people.
It is. I mean, and that's where even the olden days when them sheep herders and with their dog, if their sheep weren't moving fast enough and they were walking behind them, the dog was like a Queensland heeler. And I love Queensland heelers to look at and to pet or whatever.
Don't own one though.
If I can't make a border collie help me push, I mean, that's now part of my thing is she's going to have to learn to push.
Yep.
I don't like building fence per se too much, but I build a lot of fence. Right. You don't like to push cows too much, busy, but that's life.
Yeah, you got to do
it. Right now we're pushing. Yeah. 5 minutes later when they're going the wrong way, you get to be busy.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, there's a time it's just like the ranch. It's not always fun.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes you got to do something that's a little against what you're hoping to do.
Right. So then after early on, I was still in Austin over there. I started earlier. We got distracted, but I moved over there and ran that place for 5 years till I found this one and bought it.
Yep.
So then I've been in jigs since 1981. So, wow. But over there too, then the other thing too, we done sheep camp is everybody had a dog to get rid of. Everybody loves a puppy, and that's the. Yeah. Everybody loves a puppy till they grow up, and then they're not fun no more. Yep. And then they get in trouble. And they either chasing chickens, or they're doing this, or they're doing that. And the first thing they do, this dog needs a job. Take him to a sheep herder.
Yep.
I you know how many people haul dogs out. Take him to a sheep herder. He needs a job. Well, that's most of the time where we went and got dogs. One particular border collie, a friend of mine. I forget why, but they sent me this dog to Austin, and she was a purebred dog and all this, and I wasn't too into knowing about the purebreds as much. And anyway, so I got this dog with me, and it turned out to be the sweetest, just like Cindy. I mean, just a loving pet and love. Well, anyway, one day I'm going to look for sheep, and I get in the rocks, and I can't outrun this sheep, and she wants to go. And I let her go. Well, she goes out and gets in front of the sheep. And this sheep is driving her, and she's just going with this sheep, just gets in front of this sheep. And instead of like what we like now, if you can get a dog to grab one and stop it. But she definitely wasn't a strong biter. But that dog took off with them sheep. There was 2 sheep, and she just took off with them sheep, and she just went and went and went. Well, I was chasing her. Well, as long as I was following, she kept going. The sheep kept going pretty quick. We went through 2 miles of rocks and never did get the sheep turned around, or I could never get in front of it to help the dog, this and that. And I was like, you know what? This dog's worthless. And I was cussing it and this and that. And then a few years later, she ended up being a pet. And I still wasn't understanding the concept of it. And I understood she liked to, like if we were crelling sheep, and I got her so that she'd turn them around and point them to the gate and do the stuff and get her stopped so she wouldn't get in the gate and stuff like that. And one year at the Bask picnic in Elko, the Bask Club decided they was going to have a dog trial. Or not a dog trial, but an exhibition.
Yep.
So they brought this dog guy out of California someplace, and he had 2 or 3 dogs. And me being the only sheep man in the country, they asked me, would you bring some sheep? I says, all right. So me and my sheep herders, we gather up these sheep, and my working guys are cussing me. I can't believe we're up here chasing sheep around, catching these sheep, loading them up so you can go take them to town so somebody's dog can chew them up. And I just ranting on me. And I said, well, I promised. I says, hopefully they won't this and that. So we take the dogs to town, and this guy comes out, and I told that, and I didn't know no better. I mean, I didn't know the guy either, but he had a reputation. And this guy says, I told him, I says, these are not just your run-of-the-mill sheep, and they're not good trained sheep, because our sheep herders don't train them good. They got more wrong treatment than they ever got right treatment.
Yeah.
and that's a big deal.
Yep.
So anyway, this guy got kind of scared of me, and he goes, "Well, maybe can I work him around inside the arena and the Elko Fairgrounds for a few minutes and see how they handle?" And I says, "Yeah." And so we dumped them out of the trailer, and they just like a bunch of deer, but they were locked inside the arena at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
He sends that dog out. He sends this dog around him. This dog never gets in close to him. Pretty quick, he's milling him around. We'd park the horse trailer in the middle of the arena to unload him. And pretty quick, that guy told me, he says, "Open that trailer gate again." He says, "Oh, I love these sheep." I said, "Oh, yeah?" And he made about 2 or 3 more laps. Pretty quick, he started pitsy. Pretty quick, he loaded them 15 sheep in that trailer. Well, at home, we had to pack just about everyone in there. We were trying to push them in and herd them in and holler them in and trying to make them go in that trailer.
Yep.
And drag the first one in and turn her loose at the front. And before you could get back to get the other one, she's already back out.
Yep.
Typical Bask sheep herder system. You know?
Yep.
But anyway, so this guy, I was like, holy cow, that dog, he stays away and that don't scare the sheep. And he got to keep it this and keep it that. And finally, when he was done, he says, "Do you care if I put him out there on that alfalfa field?" And I said, "Oh, that's a pretty big country." And he says, "No," he says, "I guarantee you I will not lose a sheep." I said, "All right." So we took the end where the team ropers come in on the Elko Fair, and he opened that gate, and he drove them out with a dog. And when that one sheep found that open gate in that open country, she started towards that Elko flag, that big flag out there. Got that big. And especially one of them, she just like quit way faster than the bunch, and she was gone. That guy whistled at that dog, and that dog took off and run right up there and got right in front of that sheep and kept going and going and going. And I thought, yeah, here we go. Typical my Austin Border Collie. The dog's pushing the sheep. Where are they going to stop? They're going to be on the freeway. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And that old dog just got in front of that sheep and just kept going and going and going until that sheep started slowing down. And that dog never let that. It was from here to the wall in front of that sheep or whatever. But when the sheep slowed down, he was from here to the wall. Pretty quick, the sheep was down to a walk, and the dog was down to a walk. Pretty quick, the sheep stopped. When the sheep stopped, that dog flipped around and laid down all on his own. That guy never said a word. That old sheep would stand there and look at that dog, and she'd stomp her foot, and she'd stomp her foot, and that dog just sit there just looking at that sheep. Pretty quick, that sheep kind of starts looking around, and the other sheep had quit. They stopped back there about 100 yards or something behind her. And he kind of looked around to see where they were at, and she seen where they were at. And then she whirled around again and stomps her foot at the dog again. And she just stomped, and that dog just never done a thing. Pretty quick, that sheep turned that time and looked at the sheep. And she still laid there. And I mean, that's a lot of patience.
Yeah.
But that guy did it. Pretty quick, that sheep started 1 step, 2 step. That dog still never moved. When she about doubled that distance, pretty quick, that dog started
Creeping in on her.
But pretty quick, she breaks into a trot. The dog breaks into a trot, puts him in the people. The people in the stands were just like roaring. I mean, clapping and yelling and all excited and stuff. And he drove those sheep around that alfalfa field, turned around, brought them back. Well, that was the biggest education that was my very first biggest education on how to handle a dog was when I watched that guy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, it was like, how come you did not learn this? How come you haven't? Why are you so dumb you can't figure that out yourself? I mean, it was
Or
like,
why haven't you seen that until now? Yeah.
Well, I'd never seen it, that's
Right.
for sure. But there's a lot of things I haven't seen that I had to learn.
Yeah.
But obviously, that one I had to see it to learn it.
And it is such a big thing when you train the dogs, and someone that's advanced trainer will say, "Oh yeah, just do this," and you're like, "How did I not think of that? It's so easy." And you're like, "I'm an idiot," and because it's not right in front of you, and your brain's focused on one thing, you don't open your mind. And that's neat that you got to see it.
Yeah, it was after that, and then I was hooked. Then after that, I was like, border collies. I want border collies. There was a big outfit bought a big ranch, Russell Ranches down here, and they had a cowboy working for them one day, and they were out looking for cows and doing something, and they found some sheep. And anyway, that guy says, "You want me to gather up them sheep for you?" And I said, "Yeah," but I said, "I don't want my sheep tore up." And he goes, "Oh no, it will." But anyway, so he went out there and he had phenomenal dogs, and I later learned it was Gary Erickson who.
Oh, really?
Videos, and he was cow boss or something for Russell Ranches.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he rounded up them sheep. We loaded them. We done all the stuff with them. And then later he left. And one day I seen an advertisement someplace about Gary Erickson's Stockdogs and videos.
Yeah.
And I bought that video from him, and I studied that thing till I was blue in the face. I have a hard time having the patience to.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at that part. On the job training, I can do better than like poor Travis. I come over here with him too, but it's I don't know. It's like I got a guilty conscience. I should be working. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should be like today too. I just put a project in the shop. We're gonna fix my forks on my skid steer.
Then I called,
and now my skid steer forks are sitting in the shop.
Well, I'm thankful for that. I'm glad.
But then just from there, then I just started trying to learn everything I can. But I still am not good at going work in the pens and the thing.
So what was your very first good dog that you loved?
Oh, my very first one, I guess, would be a little gray dog, Mochi. I've told you about that dog.
Yeah.
He ended up getting kicked by a bull and got him killed.
Oh, dang it.
He was probably the equivalent of Busy, other than yet I've learned even more since him, but he was an awesome dog. I mean, he was a just first of all, he was easy to train. I've had some of them that are not very easy to train, and then I'm not. That's how me and Chicky didn't jive. That's why Chicky's with Travis and not with me, because the communication wasn't really.
It was the best.
No,
and she's a firecracker. She can come off the handle any given moment.
Right, and then it's usually I'm mad at myself instead of the dog, but I can't take it. I can't beat myself up. Verbally, I do a pretty good job of it sometimes. But.
A good tradesman always blames his tools.
Yeah. But anyway, I've had 2 or 3 of them, but the 2 best ones is probably this dog I'm packing now. But she's 12.
Yeah.
And then him, and he was only like 3 or 3.5 years old when he died, but
you didn't get the full use out of him.
I didn't get my full. Yeah. And then her dad, we struggled. He was a firecracker too, the one that you say that you've got the bloodlines to, or whatever.
Yeah.
My buddy,
what was his name?
Buddy.
Oh, okay.
Well, I called him Buddy, but his name on his papers was Buck or Bucky or something. Yep. I forget, but he was an extremely good dog, but he would wear himself out. Young, he was long-haired, but you go to the mountain and it was like, we're going to be gone for 12 hours. We're going to be gone for 13 hours. Dog, settle down.
Yep.
And there were days that dog never made it home. I had to go back and get him as a young dog. I mean,
wear himself out and not make it. Huh?
Not make it. I mean, literally not make it. No, it wasn't that he was a coward.
Yep.
He became a phenomenal dog at 10. By the time he was 10 and that slowed him down,
yep.
I got about 3 years with him that was totally awesome.
Yep.
I mean, he was, and then when he started getting old, that's where Roxy come in from. And my brother had already moved to Nebraska, and my brother's really good with dogs, way better than I am. You met David.
Yeah.
He's a patient horse trainer, and he's a patient dog trainer. He's got a lot of patience for that stuff. He's good at it. And he was talking about he follows people the way I did, and he got to know a guy by the name of Pete Carmichael. He didn't get to know him, but he knew of him.
Yep.
And then I started looking him up, and he was really well known back in that country. And he had passed away, and somehow I got a lead that he had a puppy that he had sold a dog and wanted a pick of a litter sometime or another, and he had picked this Roxy.
Okay.
And then he got sick, and then for a long time he didn't do nothing. He ended up dying, and she was I think she was like 18 months old or something before I got her, and nobody trained her but the grandkids. She loved women and she loved kids, and I got her attached to me as long as it was us. But if my wife showed up or my kids showed up or anybody, it was like
gone.
She's not
not
with you
going
anymore.
with you, and she was a little different than what I was used to, but I learned to really enjoy that dog. I mean, she would rather have healed one than head it. She would head some, but I seen her heel bulls, and just by the way that bull kicked, he would have kicked the picture off that wall. And pretty quick you'd see in the snow or something, sometimes pretty quick here's blood in the snow. She'd bite them bulls.
Yeah.
And when she healed something,
She meant it. Huh?
she meant it.
Huh.
And then so I wanted, and I paid, well, I only paid $800 or something for it.
But back then, what year was that?
Well, she just died the other day at 16, and it was about 15 years ago.
Okay.
So 14,
Wow.
14 and a half years ago. So
And what dog was that?
her name was Roxy.
Okay.
I don't know. I still have
So
her papers.
if you go off of my dog's papers,
Well,
his dad
is
was
Buddy and Roxy.
Yep. Well, his dad was Walter. So Buddy and Roxy's a ways back. But his dad was named Walter.
Okay.
And Walt's dad was named Blue. And Zach Frey down in Santa Clara, Utah, owns Blue. And Blue is out of Buddy and Roxy.
Okay.
So that's like my dog's down the line, but it says Pete Paris Buddy and Pete Paris Roxy was the parents of Blue. And that was the parents of Walt, who was the dad of Brick.
I sold two sets of pups, two different pups to Ken Jones's cousin, who lives in Cedar City, Utah.
Oh, okay.
And that's how them dogs ended up in Utah.
Yep. That's
And he
interesting.
bought the first one, and he must have liked it because he come back at another litter later
And bought another one.
and bought another one. So
Yep.
two of them dogs. I think his name was Scott Jones.
Scott Jones. I don't know Scott Jones.
I've seen him on papers before.
Yeah,
Well,
I have
they'd
too.
probably be on those papers because if my name's, unless he sold the dog. But
He had to have sold the dog because what it shows here is it says Blue is owned by Zach Frey out of Santa Clara, Utah, and Pete Paris from Spring Creek, Nevada is the breeder. So he must have sold the dog to
somebody else.
Zach Frey, who ended up papering it in his name.
Right.
But that I know that dog produced a lot of nice dogs because he's pretty well known for raising good dogs. And so I want to say like a year and a half ago, that dog was getting to be 13 years old, and he was having a hard time getting him to actually get a female caught. He'd breed them, but they wouldn't catch.
Yes.
And he had a litter just, I want to say last year or maybe a year and a half ago.
Because they got to be pretty old. Them was the first litters. Because Roxy was 16 the other day, or she would have been 16 in December. She was a couple weeks before her 16th birthday. And them were some of the very first puppies. I always bred her to Buddy. And then I started, I don't know if I'd done it before Buddy died. I reached out a couple different places, and some of them didn't really want to pan out. They no bite, no. But I'd learned then later that everybody don't want a biting dog. I love a biting dog. I just want it to bite when I ask for it,
Right.
and only when I ask for it,
Right.
Only totally under control,
Right.
But I mean,
Because you've got a love for your cows, and it's all about the cow for you and how they're feeling. And,
Right.
And you're a stockman, so you got a great read on cattle and how you want them handled. And it portrays in your dogs how your dogs, and I know that you don't like do the formal training that we're doing, but you like to do on your job training, but you expect the same things we expect in a training pen, you expect on the job, and they can't be unfair. They can't be unfair with your cows, and it's really cool to see your cattle and be out there and how they react to the dogs and soft and kind. You know you've done the right thing their whole life beforehand, and so it's cool.
But yeah, I know it's. I love working my own cows. Sometimes, and sometimes I like other people's cows. Some people have got a bad opinion of dogs too, and sometimes I'm scared. I always ask, "Is it okay if I bring a dog? Is it
Yeah.
okay if I let the dog do something?" Mm-hmm. And most of my neighbors around Jigs know me that it's going to be fine. But a lot of times too, a bad cow is kind of fun. especially some of them that's got away with murder.
Yep.
And then it's a challenge for me to make sure I completely manipulate my dog to do. A few years ago I told Travis this story too, but I had a kid pasturing cows with me, and he had a cow jumped out of every cow corrals and leave, and just she never had anything but a bad experience in her whole life. And we were doing something, and sure enough, pretty quick, she didn't want to play the game no more. And over the fence, 2 fences, and she was headed towards Carlin. and he was cussing. Now we're gonna have to go rope, or we got to do this, we're gonna do that. And I was like, I was already getting old enough where roping is not my fun thing. The roping mustangs when I was a kid, now that was a blast. If I never rope anything again, it won't bother me. But anyway, so I finally told him, I said, can I practice on that cow? I don't care what you do. He said, whatever. He says, so. And I had both dogs. I had Roxy and Busy, and especially when they were together. And Busy, or Roxy, she loved the heeling side of it, like I said, and Busy was always rather head first. Anyway, that cow was lined out through there, and finally when they spotted that cow out there a ways, I just, get a hold, get it down. They got over there, and next thing you could hear, and Roxy would bark once in a while, and pretty quick I'd hear a bark here and a bark there, and I looked, and the cow was in the brush, and the cow's still in the brush. But so we finally started getting in there, and Tyler's jerking down his rope, and I, no, let's play for a minute, let's see what's going on. And this old cow's bellering, and these dogs are just eating her up. I mean, I'm letting her do it, and I see she's starting to get tired. And finally, one time, the dogs were on the right side of the cow, and the cow kind of stopped. And reading the cow, I could see the cow wanted to quit this. She's let me go somewhere.
She's having a better thought about something different.
So finally, when everything was in the right place, the dogs was on the west side of the cow, and she needed to come east. I shut him down, and the old cow stopped there, and she's just standing there for a minute. And anyway, now that what good's that gonna do? And I says, just leave her alone. She's gonna walk off. She's not gonna stay there. And pretty quick, she whirled around and started fighting the dogs again. So I'd let the dogs fight on them a little bit more. And we'd done that about 3 times, and finally the third time that cow quit. We walked that cow. Long story short, 2 miles right back. 2 or 3. She went through fences. We went through gates to get to her. Yeah. We had to go through every one of those gates to get to where she was. We put that cow right back in the bunch, and then them 2 dogs went down there, and she had some bloody heels and a bloody nose, and it's not my favorite thing to do, but that was one time that cow needed something. Yep. She had pickled so many people, so many different ways.
She needed to be changed her thought process.
You know what? In my opinion, though, when that cow has that mindset and that bad habits, that is my favorite thing to do. Right. Is put them dogs. Let's teach her a new. Right. You have 2 choices here, and one's worse than the other one.
Right.
So you choose right, and I love it. I love teaching the cow.
Right. Oh, I loved it too with that
that's
cow.
A wrong choice.
I feel guilty when I see I've inflicted.
Yeah.
Like Travis said, livestock are money, or you know what I mean.
Yep.
You can't abuse them and make money with them.
Yep. But how many cows? Like I've had a cow jump pipe fence and get her foot hung up and break it, and it's like you know. And if you can teach that cow that it's worse off to do that than it is just to stick with the herd and get your shots and get on through and get out, you know?
Yeah.
I at one point I was like, I was trying to promote my dogs. I had that brick dog that strong as can be. And I was trying to promote my dog. So I went down to the sale barn and waited. And there was a cow that came through there, and she was trying to take every guy at the gate. She was on the fight. She was pissed off, and she went cheap. And I was the only one over there. Just, there was the meat guy that was raising his hand to a certain point, and I raised my hand just enough to get her, and she was cheap, but she was trying to kill everybody. She tried to come over the fence in the damn ring, and I'm like, yep, that's me. And I waited for everybody to load their livestock. And then I went in there when the dust had settled and everybody was gone. And I was like, I'd like to go get her with my dog and load her with my dog if you don't mind, And he was like, yeah, everybody's gone. You can do whatever you want. It's your cow, know. And I did. I put Brick in there, and that son of a gun, he had a good read on when they were going to get him in a tight spot, and he'd get out of a tight spot. But if he wasn't in a tight spot, he was going to take her face off too, you know? And she was bleeding from the nose and the heels by the time she got in the trailer. And then the first thing I did was take her to the house and dump her out in the pipe trails that she couldn't get over the top of either there. And I spent 2 days, and I fed her. I had a bale of hay on one side of the corrals, and the water was on the other set of corrals, you know. And every morning I'd move her to feed, and every night I'd move her to water. And it was almost a waste of my money, because what Brick taught her to, if you'll go the other way, I'll let you. Right. If you're going to be a knothead, I'm going to be a knothead too. And by the time I got her home, she had a different outlook. And that dog would let her walk off. She's like, yep, I'm more than willing to walk off. And I put that cow into my herd for one season, had a calf, and she was kind of an older cow, so I didn't need to hang on to her. But when we worked calves that next spring, she'd walk past you in an alleyway, because she knew if she walked off, you would let her. Right. You know, they just had her upset. Right. And I'm imagining that the previous owner had her, she just couldn't win. And she was willing to bring the fight to you. So
yeah, no, I've seen a lot of places you pull into someone's ranch, and the first thing the cows do is bail into a pile and head for a corner.
Yep, bristle up. Yep.
They just, you know, oh boy, the war's on.
Yep, they're here.
And it's like, why? Why is this? Why can't we ride out to these cows? Now, I understand my cows will do it sometimes too, because they know I'm going to do something with them, but it's not that they'll go to obviously to the other end, because they know I'm probably going to bring them to the corral. And
yep.
I mean, they're not so saintly that they want to come to the corral.
Yeah.
Tell them to, but that ain't just this run off.
You can handle them.
Yeah. It's just, they go down to the corner and they wait for you. And just in case I change my mind or something different. But it's just so neat to point them cows in a direction, and we want to go through that door, and they're kind of doing this. And if that dog walks up there, and the minute that first lead cow sees that dog and points her nose at that door, if that dog's got to drop.
Yep.
And pretty quick, those cows, the minute the cow drops, oh boy, I'm going in the right direction. Yep. It might be wrong. You know, it might be you didn't send her that way, you didn't want her to go that way or whatever, or you only got half the first time. The second time you get the other half or whatever. But
yeah.
And then by the time they're cows, or like me now, the day I separate my replacement heifers, everything I do is with the dog.
Yep.
Afoot, side by side, horseback, in the corral, just so they start getting used to what that dog is. And then I try to never make it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of times, like some of my employees, sometimes don't let the cow get away. Do not let that cow get away with it, or turn back, or, well, I'll go get her. She'll stop in the corner. Let her think about it for a minute. No.
Get her now.
Yeah. She don't need to go to the corner and play games with us. It's like some of these kids, time out in the corner, or where's that coming from?
Yeah.
You break away, that dog's going to chew on you, and the minute you turn around and go back to that herd, that dog's going to stay out here.
Yep.
And about 3 applications of that, and pretty quick those cows, you know what?
Yep.
If we're good, we get treated good.
Yep.
When we're not good, we don't get treated that great.
Yep. You got choices to make here.
It is.
And one's going to be more pressure and one's going to be less pressure. You decide what you want to do.
Yeah. I know I went out and moved some cows with Pete, and I took his dog, and it's whenever Chicky does something bad, I'm like, that Pete Paris guy this is his dog. And when she does good, I said, yeah, no, it's a dog I got. Yeah, she's doing pretty good.
Yep.
But I tell people, I was like, and they will ask about it. I'm like, this is Pete owns this dog, and they're like, he's always had good dogs. Like in this area, has a reputation. Pete's dogs are good. You want to go get a nice pup, you go to Pete. And we've talked, and he come to our trial, and he works his dog around, and I was like, he should get in it. Pete's like, no, I'm not good enough to do anything like that, And this busy dog that he's talking about, we're moving these pairs out, and I think there's a stackyard a gate was open, stackyard, then it went out into a different field. Remember that? And these cows started turning and seeing that open gate, and we were off balance, and we were couple, maybe 100, 200. Like we're a pretty good distance away, and them cows started to go that way, and I was like, oh no, I don't know how this is going to work out. And that Pete sent that dog, and that dog went around there, and he controlled it off balance from a long thing, like an open hand, like perfectly to save the day. And it wasn't a big deal. And then away we went. And I was just like, that's the cool things that you would see at a trial, but it wasn't one. It was like 30.
Right.
And with cows and calves. And it was really impressive, I thought. I thought it was neat.
Well, you can listen to the way Pete talks, and it's a lot like Lance Knutson. When you run into somebody that cares how their cattle are handled and taught, you watch. Their dogs are always a different style of dog than some, like, just people that a lot of times you find hands, that want to come out and work, and they got strong dogs and they got horses and they want a buckaroo or cowboy. You know what I mean? A lot of times that's the ones you find out that are a little bit more unruly. But when you got somebody that cares about the livestock, you watch their dogs are a lot more correct and a lot more thinking dogs than the other kind of dogs, than biting dogs.
They're not trying to show. Yeah, it's crazy because it's like I know that Pete, like if his dog never bit in its whole entire life, but the cattle always acted right, that'd be the perfect dog. Like it's cool to see, and to see a big herd, like a good mob of cows like that, react so kindly to the dog.
Because every one of them should have met the dog at one time or another and never had a bad experience. So it translates to 150 in the bunch or 200 in the bunch.
Yeah.
But to me, as much as I like proper livestock handling and their money, that's your livelihood, all that stuff. But to me, the game, the dog game, to be able to communicate with that dog, and the dog communicates with the cow, and between the three of us, we've communicated that these cows kind of want to go this way, but I sent the dog to turn them. Busy will be there waiting for him. A lot of times I'm a little controlling. Some guys let their dogs run a little more. Usually them cows will be wanting to go the wrong way, and sometimes I'll even test them to see if is it a blind spot for them, or are they testing me? They don't want to. They know we're going to that gate over there.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10 they're testing me, but I'll always give them a second. And Busy will be sitting there. I mean, she's just chomping at the bit. I don't just let her go do that.
Yep.
And pretty quick, then I'll turn her loose.
Send the dog to test the cows.
And as soon as that cow flips, now in her older age and stuff, 9 times out of 10, the minute that cow even bends, she'll drop without me saying anything.
That's cool.
And if she don't, then I'll tell her right there. Sometimes she gets a little more amped up, or when she's fresher and stuff.
And this is Busy out here in the truck.
Yeah.
Nice. She's getting to be an old girl now, ain't she?
Yeah, she's 12 years old now.
Yep.
But yesterday, she's always in the tractor with me. And yesterday I broke the forks. I pulled some 75-year-old man stunts. Anyway, what I was trying to, didn't want to take the time to fix them, but I was trying to jerry rig them together so I could finish feeding cows, and the neighbors brought me a cow carcass. We got a bunch of cats, and I hate buying cat food, but I love cats, wild cats around the ranch.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know Busy, while I was usually she's there waiting to go, but I knew she went over there, and I didn't fix it the way I wanted. And anyway, I ended up jumping in the tractor and just took off. Well, now I'm late. The weaners had been fed early, and the cows weren't fed. And I figured the weaners are full. But anyway, they ended up following me, playing all the way up to the fence up there. And when I opened the gate, the cows are trying to come through the gate with the hay on the trailer. And I was like, one lousy time, this dog is not at my feet. And here I am. And anyway, I mixed 15 weaners and 3 cows and this and that. And I got them all fed. And when I got done, I said, you know what? I'm going to go see if I can't fix this mess. So first I went up to the weaners, and I just in the side-by-side, and I didn't use no dogs. I just kind of putsied around with the weaners, and finally got them where it was just straight weaners. It's not fair to Busy. She's a good dog, but she don't understand weaners from cows.
Yeah, it doesn't separate.
what are we doing here? We're going to take this whole herd and put them through the gate, or what? And some people sort cattle with dogs. There's a lot of things I don't do. That makes me not that good. There's people that sort cows. My brother does all kinds of stuff way more. He runs his cows, vaccinates all of his cows, pushes them through the chutes. I don't like to let my dogs in the corrals that much. Usually there's people.
Yep.
And with people, she wants to do what she's trying to do, and somebody's in her way, or that people are chastising her. They tell her to, get out of there. Well, she's obviously knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And you really don't know what you're doing, and you're over there trying to take it away from her. So my thing in the corral 90% of the time is, so you can help us put them in the alley. Once they get in the alley, she's got her spot. She'll go get in that spot and sit there and poke her head underneath the fence. And then there's neighbor, your dog's got his head under the fence. That don't matter. Them cows are going to walk past that dog with that head under that fence. They've been doing it since they were babies.
Yeah.
They could care less if that dog's head's under that fence because they know it's not going to be a wreck.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we went down there, got all the heifers. I finally got all the heifers divided. I had cows and 12 heifers. And I just, okay, busy, they're yours. We started, they'd try to go around us, and they'd try splitting, and I'd take one side, and she'd take the other side. Anyway. Then we had 2 second calvers that went with the weaners, and they went down there and found the leftover alfalfa, so they were down there. They weren't about to leave there, and anyway, finally one of them lined out, so I let her go kind of wrong, but I fought the other one. And anyway, the one that didn't want to go fought me the whole way going, but always wrong. So Busy is, like you said, out of position. I'm with this cow, and Busy's on the other side with that cow. And then she's like, wants to come help me with my cow. She wants me to go put my cow with her cow. I want her to put her cow with my cow. And anyway, so I yell, get him, come by, bring that cow. Anyway, finally, by the time we got up to the gate, we had the 2 cows at the thing. We opened the gate and put them through. And that to me is love working dogs and cows. I mean,
it's fun.
It's fun. It's just
super amazing.
And that's the other cool thing is, like, you couldn't get it done by yourself without her.
No, not well. I could horseback. I could go catch a horse. I could run the horses in, go catch a horse, because I can't cross the ditch with the. There's only certain place I can cross that ditch or that Willow Creek side by side, and
which is it makes it a lot of fun. And I always see when you get excited talking about dogs, and I'd hate to be the person that told you that your dog was heads through the fence, because I know your temper and I know your love for the dog and the cow. And if you're there and you're trying to tell that that dog's done more hours than a lot of people on the ranch, and I covered a lot of miles, so it'd be a pretty big. You better mind your P's and Q's.
I try. I mean, usually I got to get amped up to get amped up, or whatever, however you want to word it. But like somebody that. I treat most people with dogs like they don't know nothing, and that's arrogant on my part. It shouldn't. I mean, I don't mean it to be arrogant, and maybe it is an arrogance, but there's just so many people that don't understand nothing.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that's seen a lot of wrecks, like a dog in the front of the gate, like they talk about the dog in the gate. Well, if them were somebody else's cows, that probably wouldn't work very good with her sticking her head underneath the gate, because they don't know the difference. But that cow and that dog
have a relationship.
There's a relationship there. They know that they can walk past that dog all day long with her head sticking underneath that. And once in a while, she'll get antsy and she'll step in, and then she'll get her.
Then she gets her turn.
Yeah, then it's her turn for the chewings. But like for most people, though, when they tell me your dog's in the way, we'll just leave her alone. You tell me when it causes a problem. And then I've had about the time you make a statement like that, Busy will bite me. She'll either step in and turn it back or do something.
And then you'll be like, I wanted that one back anyway.
As soon as I brag on my dog, they make me look down.
Exactly. Yeah, that is that definitely does happen.
I'll tell you what, though, talking about a lot of people that don't know dogs or they're not used to them or whatever. When I was a teenager, my mode of transportation was a horse. So I would always ride my horse to my girlfriend's house, which is now my wife. And oddly enough, I always had a pit bull when I was a teenager. I thought the bully dogs were the cool stuff. And, but my pit bull would just run with my horse everywhere I went. And she was a well behaved dog.
Right.
And, but I rode through the field. I could either come up the road and right to the girlfriend's house, or I could take another block that was 1.5 miles down, and I would hit the back of the ranch and I would ride through the ranch. And that was a lot fun to ride. So I would always come through the ranch on my horse to visit the girlfriend.
Just trying to sneak in from the back.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't
But
he didn't want to be seen on.
the father-in-law's cows would see that dog and they would come. Almost every time they'd come and just make a big old wall, and they were looking at us and they were watching us, and maybe they were carrying on a little bit, you know what I mean? But they'd see that dog and they'd get defensive because either they'd never seen a dog or the only dog they'd seen were coyotes, and they were never a good thing, you know? And I only did that about 3 times. My father-in-law said, if you're going to ride through my field, leave your dog home. I was like, she's not doing anything. She's not hurting anything. And he's like, I don't care. You're stirring up my cows. And it might be that and I said, yeah, they're doing it, not her. And he's like, I don't care. I don't want them stirred up, you know?
Their field, my cows.
Yep. My field.
And I'm not
my
sure
cows.
I want you with my daughter anyway.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he's like,
Anything that's going on.
and this is a really good place for me to chew your ass. Yep. He said, keep that dog out of my field. And I was like, oh, what an ass, you know? But that was the truth of it. And he would never come working day, anybody. Nope. Keep your freaking dogs off my property. My cows don't get worked with dogs. Right. But he was somebody that never seen a good experience, right. Period, you know? And tricks on him. Now his cows get worked every day with dogs all the time, you know? But I think if he's seen the progression now compared to what he'd always seen, it would be a different story, you know?
And it was, and I think it's getting better now, but even in the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more people, even if they don't have a dog, they've heard or seen that there are good dogs out there in the world.
Yep.
And 20 years ago, one good dog and 100 of them were not even really the dog, the people will let them chew them cows up and stuff, trying to load them and stuff like that. I mean, I don't like that. I
think it's the internet, really. I mean, you get thinking about it, and now people can see. I mean, generally, if you're willing to put it on the internet, it's doing something right. Right. And so now people with the internet and social media and stuff, it's really starting to grow, because as a general public, they're starting to witness, oh my gosh, it's just like you go into that guy and he's taking his sheep out into the alfalfa field. You're like, whoa, I didn't know this could be the way we did it. Right. You know, and I think the internet's really exposing that and exposing everybody to it anyways. Right.
But those tricks too, though, is they hurt me a little bit, because then I went home and I tried to teach sheepherders that. And that was another game in itself. But then I've had some sheepherders that were pickup dogs and training and awesome, and other ones that never have no clue and no understanding. The wronger the dog was, the more they let him get away with it, and the righter the dog was, the more time they spent calling the back.
Yeah. And we've had those talks before.
We've talked about that before, but I call it sheepherders, but Americans, sheepherders, there's so many of those people that will, the dog does something wrong, and I'm like bouncing in my saddle because you didn't fix that, and pretty quick that dog will steal a chance and do the right thing, and they'll start yelling at it. And I'm like, oh, the poor dog. He just done something really cool. Yeah. But sometimes those people don't even see that.
Yeah.
They didn't even vision it, or couldn't even spot that.
No, and I think those people, it's the love of the dog and seeing the goal where you're going. It's like, yeah, dogs make mistakes, but they also do good things. They're not making a mistake all the time. And if you really pay attention to it and be like, it's not what I wanted, but he's not incorrect. It's
Right.
like, let's play this out. And it's hard when you're on other people's cattle. You're a little more on edge, I feel like. When you take them to someone else's house, you're like, and then versus if you're just there by yourself, like, I know when I work dogs by myself and moving a group of cows and it's a little greener dog, it's like, we'll see how that plays. Hey, that's worked out pretty good. And if they're really bad, I'm on them. But if they're not, it's like I give them a bit more leeway. And that's, but I do see the same thing. I'm with you. Like, I'll go help people and their dog will actually be doing something good and they have expectations, like I'm judging their dog or something like that, or I don't know. And they'll be training on their dog, put more pressure on. It's like, hey, that dog's actually doing something really cool right now. It's like, leave him alone. And but the same sort of thing as you, and I know what you mean for sure. But it's for sure a lot of fun. I've told Chance and stuff before. It's a great time going out to your house and working because you're not putting your dog on unbroke stock. Like the cow knows how to respect the dog. If your dog's unfair, they're gonna react. They're gonna punish that dog. But if your dog's fair, they react so smoothly. It's really cool.
That's what I like. I mean, like pairs. I never ask my dog to move a pair cow. Once we're done calving, I mean, I might let her make a big circle to turn the leaders, but the cow is not threatened.
Yep.
But the rest of the time, I want her, and that's one downfall to Busy compared to Buddy, is Buddy would stay 25 yards behind me all day long, and Busy will cheat. I'll put her back there, and she just wants to be there. She'll know she won't pass me, but she'll be, and I might be maybe too close to the cows on my fault of it, but then if I'm too close, she's too close because she wants to be with me.
Yeah.
But like Buddy had it figured out, and Busy still, she does it when I make her do that, but I have to almost physically lay her down or stay back there or something. When a calf breaks back, now is your chance. And if the cow comes out of the herd and goes too, then nothing much I can do about that. That usually 9 times out of 10 never happens.
Yeah.
A calf will break back. It'll get far enough back. And the biggest problem with that one is all your helper cowboys think it's time to rope or the dog ain't going to bring it back or whatever. And if the dog come by, the cowboy goes away. Yeah. And if the dog's in the way, the cowboy went to the come by. So now they're railroading the calf.
Yeah. You got a big long line.
Yeah, you got, there's no out. And then there's where my patient thing starts. I start, leave the dog alone. Leave it alone. Don't chase a calf. Plus then 3 more goodbye because you didn't hold your end of the bargain because you went to chase that one calf.
And it's more and more.
And then pretty quick it's a more and more thing. But that's another thing that is I love, and it's so neat of a dog thing is a calf. You can be a cowboy. They'll go under your horse's feet. You can't turn them. That's why everybody just goes over there and ropes it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because once they're going, they're going.
Once they're going, and if you try bending it, it's either going to duck behind you, under you, or something.
Yep.
But I guarantee you about 2 times when that calf goes up there and that dog grabs it by the cheek and spins it around, or it'll spin around, and then might go the wrong way, and the dog bite one more time or something. But once that calf has been bit 1 or 2 times and it's going back towards that herd and that dog's not pressuring it, that calf will be on a dead run back into that bunch.
Yep.
Dead run.
Yep.
And it is
and
really.
You ain't going to do that. There ain't a cowboy alive that I think can make that calf do what that dog made that calf do.
Yep. No. And definitely, because I'm with you, you see it all the time. As soon as a calf breaks back, it's whoever can get his rope undone fast enough.
Yeah.
And then it's haul and butt. And these aren't, and most of the guys aren't NFR calf ropers.
Right.
So 2 missed loops and 3 fences later, they're trotting up, dragging this calf, and it's got its tongue hanging out, and it is bug. It's like, well, you might as well just killed it out there or lepied it because now it's pretty going to be sick. And them dogs, they're so quick. And me and you have talked about before is those dogs, and I'm talking, a dog that's educated. Not every dog. You have to teach your dog to do this, but that predator instinct, those calves pick their head up and they stop much quicker, and then they start looking around like, "Where's my mum? I need some protection here."
It is. I mean, they want to come back to that bunch, and like you helped us last spring. We've trailed cows out there. 2 or 3. Very seldom does that dog go back and get the same calf.
Yeah.
Like, what is that, 3 miles or
Yeah,
whatever that in that first beginning there?
It's a ways.
It's a pretty good challenge, and the dog will go back and get 5 or 6 calves or whatever it is. But very seldom does that dog ever have to go back and get the same calf.
It's something else, yeah.
Another calf will try it.
Yep.
But very seldom does that dog ever have to go back and get the same calf twice.
Yep. And it's often a thing too, because like you said, you're driving cows for an hour or two and you're at the back and you're watching the cows, and then you get bullshitting with your buddy and you're talking, and then your buddy will look at the calf and be like, "You're missing it," and you'll still be talking, and the next thing the calf's gone. It's like, and if the dog's there, it's such a handy tool to have. And
I get complacent, and I guess you can tell by now that I can talk as good as the rest of them. But
not as good as us.
If we're pushing a bunch of cows someplace and I'm not amped up and worried about something, I'll get lackadaisical, and I'm not really worried about a calf breaking back. If I didn't have a dog, I wouldn't be worried about a calf breaking back. But as long as that dog is not wore out or something wrong with it, I'm pretty sure that calf is going to come back.
Yeah,
my wife and gates around our place, she's like, "You've leave the gate open," and I get lazy about it. I'm like, I only got 6 dogs in the back of this side by side. One of them will go get it. If that dumb prick wants to come out that gate, he's gonna get got.
Yeah, I do the same thing here. Even with the sheep, I'll come in and bring them a hay bale, and people that come over, they get out and the sheep all start rushing the gate. And they run out there and they're getting ready to slam it in the back of my pickup. And I stopped there and took them. I was like, "Go forward, go forward." I was like, I actually want them to. I dare these sheep. I hope they get out, because I got a kennel full of dogs and it's just good playing around. So it's just such a relief that it's non-stressful.
Yeah.
Like, the cows on the wrong side of the fence. It's a pain in the neck, but it's not. I just go check them out. I'll get them right back in. It's not a big deal.
It's the point where you wonder how people work sheep and cows without a dog.
Yeah.
Why would you want to?
I don't even want to be a livestock man without a dog.
Yeah.
If I'm not a livestock man, I'm not sure I want a dog. I do because I love busy, but if I didn't have ranch work, I doubt if I'd own a dog. Maybe a pet.
You'd be a trial man. I'd convince you of it. I'd be dragging you to the trials. I'd be like, "Load up, Pete. We're going." Which I still think you should do with Busy. There isn't things I've seen her do from a distance with you controlling her it would be amazing. If you could get out there and go to a dog trial, you'd be in the winner's circle.
You'd be addicted real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'd have to double up on the cow numbers so you could afford to have it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
it's cool to watch, though.
It is fun. And I know, like, even you came to our dog trial and watching people, and with your experience with cows and stuff, and I could see you sitting in the stands squirming. It's like, that cow's lead moved, and why isn't he stopping the dog now? And yeah,
it does. It was funny. I mean, I'm talking to the dogs in the stand, and I forget who's with me. It said something to me smart, which is fine. I mean, but I was like, there. And sure enough, pretty quick, that dog took 4 more steps, and now the cow, if she'd have dared at the right time, she was pointed to the slot or the gate or whatever they're trying to do. And the cow bent, or the sheep, or they were cows, yearlings, but the cow bent, and I went, there. Like if I was actually busy out there doing it.
Yeah.
And then people didn't say nothing, and they'd do just a little bit more, and now instead of going to the gate, the cow's pointed that way, and they said, there. Well, now you got to come by to go clear over here to bring that cow. Some of those people... Well, they're all good dogs. They have them trained to the hill. They just don't. A lot of those people don't have the vision to know when. Either they start late, from what I've seen, and that's all I've done is observe. But they either started a second too late, or they took 2 steps too many.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, they either didn't read the cow. You can look at that cow and think, that cow ain't planning on going through that slot. And then people haven't spotted that on that cow. And then pretty quick she commits. Now they've seen it, but the cow's taken 2 steps. Now you talk to the dog. Now the dog has to come behind you and go around you. Now she's taken 30 steps.
Yep. I'll tell you what, right now, the best dog trailers are the people that can read cattle. It isn't the dog handler. It's the stock handler. And
I can
the
see
best
that.
way to be proficient fast is to be able to read your livestock.
Right.
So I wouldn't hesitate if I was you. I would go in there and get in the novice and try a little, dip your toes in there, because you might find out you got a lot of talent for it,
And, And I think he should, because that busy dog that he's talking about is a hell of a dog.
Yep.
She's getting on in years, and I sent him a dog that I only trust Pete with. That's going to cause his some heartache. But if there's anyone that can make a dog out of her, it's going to be Pete. So
Good deal.
And I was like, and I think the Busy's a great dog.
Yep.
And Pete, that dog has done more miles and more hours working than any dog I've ever owned. With all my dogs combined, I would think, because there isn't a day she's not with
It's not
him.
like I'm a Spanish ranch cowboy or something where I'm working cows every day either. But when we're gathering cows or working cows, trailing cows, or in the pickup, or I want to sneak a bunch of cows through the gate or some little projects like that. But
She's with you. She's doing it.
Yeah,
if
no,
there's some cow work going on, it seems like or sheep work, she's there.
I don't know, she's like I said
doing it.
yesterday, for 30 minutes, I let her go to lunch with her friend. And I was like, why did you do that?
Yep.
But that's the so I thought, and to give Busy a week, you should retire into dog trialing.
Yeah.
She would have
Get some belt buckles under her belt.
Yeah, she'd be cow working still, but it's just an easy retirement for her. And then you can deal with this other horrible dog that I got going your way. And
She's not a horrible dog. It's not her fault. I'm never going to blame that dog. I might be totally wrong, but that dog is total human error. In my opinion, that dog is 110% human error.
Oh, yeah.
In her
So
life.
how is she working? What's she doing?
Well, first of all, and there we go again. I don't go put her in a pen. And first of all, my sheep, I really don't want to train on my sheep, because my sheep are pretty wild. They run loose on the ranch, and they're a handful. They need Busy's. Busy don't handle them right. She's a little too aggressive for the sheep, and that blows them up. Where if she would stay away from it, it would be better. And if Cindy ever got into them, they'd be
worse.
a wreck. So,
Yeah.
and I don't want them having wrecks. So I don't even get close to them with Cindy. But her problem is she don't want to go. She's at your feet. She's just there with you, but she's all tense and she's looking at him, and I'm begging her to go or telling her, you can go away, come by. I don't know whether she don't even know them two commands, she don't know them at all, or she don't respond to them. But when she finally does, she'll just blow right to the first closest cow in the middle. Like the other day, the cows were waiting to be fed, and some cows was kind of standing off to the side. I said, perfect. I start walking around. And I come on, away. I'm telling her away, and I'm walking that way, and I'm doing all the things that should make her go that way. And I know she's a good border collie bloodlines. She should want to fetch. And I finally was begging her, away, and I'm walking, trying not to walk too much. I want her to go, but I'm letting her know that I'm going that way. And finally, she hits her in the head, and she don't even look at me. She flips to the left, and the whole herd was over by the feeder. She went boiling into the herd, and then she just started attacking, barking like crazy, and attacking. And then the cows kind of split up, and these cows didn't really go as fast as these. So she like switching bunches and just getting different cows. And by that time, now I'm trying to get her to lie down. And I didn't. I got her to lie down, but I can never get her to lie down the first lie down.
Right.
But then then the other day, Justin left the gate open, and there was a bunch of cows on the outside in by Loretta's yard. So I wasn't even planning on using her, and she jumped off the feed truck on me. I didn't catch her. She was on the back of the feed truck, or I don't know. I think it was a feed truck. Don't matter. She jumped off and attacked, and the cows was kind of going towards the gate. Justin was over there going to make him go through the gate, and I was behind him. She run in there and she split them cows, one, and the other cows bolted for the gate, and she cut that one cow out. And then that cow kind of was going the wrong way, and she did run over there. But I thought it was Justin's dog, and they looked so much alike too. And anyway, I was like, how did he let his dog out? And then I realized, seeing that orange collar, and I says, that's Cindy. And she turned that cow, and she was getting ready to attack it again and hit it again. And I yelled at her, lie down. And she kind of was still coming towards the cow. And the second I got her to lie down, but it worked out perfect. That she split that cow. She caused a wreck. She turned the cow. I got her to lie down, and the cow went through the gate.
Yep.
And I made her stay laying down. But I need to come work with you.
Oh, no.
Tell Travis to work a little harder before he sends you that dog.
Well, Cindy's, I got her late in life, and we talked about it as her being just a producer and so green for the outside world. And I'm interested to see, and I knew it'd be a test because she's not in the little pens. Like, yeah, she's okay, but in the big wide world, I was like, there's no better person to get experience and know what to expect of her.
Right.
And I'm interested to see in 6 months how far she's come, because I truly believe she's
I'm not sure I'm going to get the fetch into her though. I'm where my inexperience, and I mean totally inexperienced, is how do I get her to just thinking that I'm getting to chase stuff and do what I want instead of getting her brain to be a border collie. Yeah. I know this guy's a half a psychologist. If he ain't, he studies it. Yep. To get into that dog's head. I mean, like down there the other day too, he says, watch this, I'm going to make that dog do the wrong thing. And he takes a step to the left or right or whatever he did, and the dog went in there and blew the sheep up.
Yep.
That put me at the same level as 99% of these people out there in the same world. I was like, I don't see, to this day, I don't see why what he did made that dog do the wrong thing. And then he come back the next time and says, okay, she's going to do it right this time. And I'm not talking going from here to the tree and from here to that pickup. It was one step here, one step there. I don't have that.
I think that though, like out there, and you know how you want your stock treated, and you know how a dog should act. There's no choice for her to. I think it's going to skyrocket her. Where she just doesn't know. Never been out, never had a real job, and like you said, she's a nervous, want to be right with you type of dog, and
she's getting a little better on that. I don't never leave her if I'm not there, but sometimes I get in the shop too, and I get worried what she's doing, because now she is venturing. Before she'd be in the shop and in and out of the shop and in my feet and wanted to go do something, but then don't want to leave me, and I don't leave. And now once in a while I'll forget and do something, and she ain't around. I start running around outside. Where's that dog at? Yeah. And she really wanted to chase cats bad, and I think if she got a chance now, she'd chase cats too. But right now, pretty much the cats, I come home in the night and the cats come expect me to feed them, the ones at our house. And she'll get out of the pickup and the cats, and then she'll be milling around them all, and Busy will be busy. She herds all the cats back up. That dog is at home. If there's a cat, she's stalking it, pushing it, nipping its heels,
really,
and pushing that cat around the yard. And there's been days we'll leave at 7 o'clock in the morning, or get on our horse at 7 o'clock in the morning, get home at sundown, go home, and when the cats show up, here she is herding cats. And she's been out there all day
herding cats
in 80 degrees or whatever it is, and she comes home and she's got a herd of cat.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I mean,
it's just built into her.
Yes, I mean, she's plumb zeroed into. Roxy never cared about the cats. She'd kill one if you get a chance. not really kill it either, but if they got in her food or she
didn't like it much.
She didn't like it much, but the rest of the time she didn't. But Busy has to. It's like a habit, I guess. She just sits there and follows that cat around. And sometimes the cat stops, and so she'll grab it by the foot, grab it, and the cat will swat her in the face. It's just an evolving game.
Well, it's exciting. I'm excited to see how she goes, and I mean, she's just. I didn't have her that long, so I mean, she's just gonna go with you and see how she whirls. I know she produces some nice pups. So either way, she's going to be an asset. But
She's not gonna have puppies though.
yeah,
She's again as a race.
really. Yeah. So
And I'm not sure. Like, what are we? Today's the 16th, and we were around Christmas or whatever.
yeah, it was right after.
Busy's kind of fat, but I don't think I don't see her.
Fingers crossed, it'd be good. But
Well,
who knows?
if I had to make a statement today or a guess today, I would predict there's none there either.
Yeah.
Dang it. But maybe we'll get lucky.
Hopefully it's lucky. Hopefully you're surprised.
But she's only had, she'd come in heats not very often, and when she did come in, she had one set of pups in her life.
Yep.
And she's been bred 5 or 6 different times.
Yep. I've had them go till the last 2 weeks before they really start showing that you don't even know they're pregnant until they show some tits and have one puppy in there, But
Well, maybe if she's because of her age, that's what they start doing too. Is have less puppies, so she might have.
She might.
Keep our fingers crossed.
2 feet.
Wait about
one for Travis, one for Pete.
Yeah.
That would be great. But if you end up with it, then I'll come to you and say, when you breed that one, let me know.
Yeah.
So that would be exciting. And I do some questions, Pete, because I want to hold you up because I know you're itching to get back to
I'm done now.
Skid-Tiffle.
Now from
If
here
I
to
could
go
help.
home easy from this chair to the easy chair.
I like it, and I do really appreciate you coming in. So, and I enjoy listening and visiting about this because I think it's a good thing for everyone. And
You might need to edit a lot of it.
no, I think it's
Too
perfect.
much bull.
Chance won't. He'll edit like any dead spots out, but he will not edit anything out. He's established that from the first podcast. He's the worst.
If he says something stupid, I'm leaving it in.
Yeah,
Well, maybe I need to edit myself a little bit this week.
we had and the things he's very good at editing is if he says something.
Yep. If I make an ass out of myself, I'll edit that sucker right out.
He'll leave my stuff in. He's pretty good. But and I haven't got my computer here, so I'm going off memory. But if these are just questions we ask all the guests, is like, so if, can you name 3 people, dead or alive, that you'd like to go back and have dinner with? And you can go a few more if you want to. It's just a guess thing.
Well, there's a bunch, but one would be my dad and my grandfather and my brother.
Yeah. That's a good one.
We didn't talk about him much. He was a hell of a cowboy.
Your dad?
Well, my dad was too.
Yeah.
But my
His brother.
Okay, yeah. What was his name?
Mickey.
Michael. Yep.
But,
And did he grow up in Butte or here?
yeah, no, he's the next one behind me, but he was killed in a tractor accident when he was 24.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
He was different. Me and the rest of us were all plenty of talkers. I mean, you met David. He would talk.
Yeah, I enjoyed David, yes, a lot.
My brother Mickey was not a lot of words, but usually they made somebody laugh when they did come out. I mean, and he was sharp. He really detested big mouth people or braggy type. In the Bask community, there are all these weightlifters and all this stuff. So we was always raised around these guys. And when I was a kid, I fell for it, because these guys were always talking tough. So I wanted to be stronger than one of them, this and that. And my brother would look at me and go, "You done?" And here he was. And he was. I don't know if he'd have got big. He was small. He was only like 5'5", and he was starting to gain a little weight when he passed away. But he only weighed 155 pounds or something like that. But tough. I mean, and daring. The rest of us were always, I don't know, like go to a dance, scared to ask a girl to dance. And why are you scared to ask her to dance? I said, "Oh my God, what if she tells me no?" Yep. He goes, "Those 10 more." He says, he didn't care. I mean, he wasn't.
That's good.
I'm sure he was, somehow the good Lord knew that he was only going to live to be 25 and he had to make
live out. Yeah, that's neat.
But he was funny. He loved, that was the other thing. It was my brother David. All 3 of us have our ways and what we like, but like horseback, David loved good horses.
Yep.
He didn't like riding bucking horses, but he liked if this horse had potential to reining horses and get him into a bridle and this and that.
Yep.
And we all had to start our own colts, and I never liked starting my colts. I liked good horses, but I wanted them broke, and that's half the time created my problems because I wanted them broke in 60 days instead of a year, which made and then my brother Mickey, the rank ones, them was his. I mean, if we had one that nobody liked or we were scared of or whatever, that's the one that.
Was he was younger?
He was 18 months younger than I am.
Oh, really? Okay.
He was the second. David's the third. Mark was the fourth. And then we had a sister too, and she passed away at 2.
Yeah. Okay.
She was the baby.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a good answer. There's a lot of people, and that's good when you get to have a chance to go back and eat with them. The stories and the things they can tell you, it'd be cool.
well, it is funny how God works in mysterious ways or whatever. I was already living in Austin, and he was still at the ranch. And our sheep shearers called and said they was going to be here early. And for whatever reason, it was 3 days before he died, but he was in town. We had a house in Ely because when we went to school, and then we just kind of kept that for whenever we went to town, we had a place to go.
Yeah.
But so I had to go to Ely to pick up these wool bags, and he happened to be in town. And I had to be back in Austin the next morning at daylight. And it was April. And him and I talked till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, really?
Just bullshitting.
That's
And
really
I was
special.
like, man, I ain't even gonna go, oh, you'll live. He said, you can suck it every day. And him and I, that ain't like we ain't seen each other for a year, but for whatever reason, we sat there in BS till 2 or 2:30 in the morning.
Hell lucky.
And 4 days later, he was gone. So
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lucky.
it was pretty
Yeah, that's special.
Yeah.
pretty good deal. But he was just a lot of him was a comedian type. I had a girlfriend once, and she come to the ranch, and I forget what was wrong. Oh, her car wasn't running good. So, and he was mechanic some, but he was better. He was probably the best mechanic of us all too. And anyway, this car wasn't running good, so he throws the hood open, he opens the air cleaner, and he pulls the air cleaner out of it. I mean, his air cleaner probably hadn't been changed since the day the car was bought. So he pulled the dipstick out, and it looked like grease on the end of the dipstick, and he starts just giving this girl this bad time. Do you ever check the oil? She goes, no. She says, I don't see any leaking under the floor. Anyway, we tire into her car, and we didn't have an oil filter, so we're rinsing the oil filter with gas and diesel. Put the same oil filter back on it. And stuff like that. But he ragged on her, and I was like, don't you be running her off now.
This isn't your girlfriend. Leave her alone. Well, the other one I have is if you could have a dog over again, who would it be and why?
It'd be tough. It'd probably be busy just because there's a lot of years there.
Yeah.
And, for sure busy. Mo, his name was Mo. I called him Mochi all the time. I took him back to, that was a pretty big kick in the guts when I found him dead in the kennel in the morning.
Yeah, I guess he would have been a good one because you didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with him.
Right. And I had another dog that I thought was good, that I really liked. It was just different longer ago. His name was Jim. I really liked him, but now if I'd have put him up against Mo or this one or Buddy,
He might not be as good.
he was not a dog. I mean, he was a good dog, but he wasn't a dog.
Well, that's what a lot of people say too, because it seems like they just get better and better dogs as they go on, but they're getting better and better.
They have that too, but it's just, I don't know. Jim, I don't know, for whatever, I don't remember now exactly where I got him or how I got him either, but I don't even know if he was a purebred border collie. He might have had some Aussie.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, Pete, what were you thinking?
Well, back in the day, the Aussies you could make bark.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So when we were kids or at home, and that mentality, most dogs we'd go look for would be an Aussie or something that we could make bark, not something, because like I said, that barking dog was. But the other thing too, and back in the day, or at home in the trees, you get a band of sheep inside the trees, and they were used to barking dogs, and you start going through them trees, and them guys would be clapping and hand making that dog bark, and that dog barking pretty quick. You could see on the other side of the trees all the sheep coming out of the trees.
And they
It was
still
a system. I mean, not that there was nothing wrong with it. In fact, I think probably that was a better system
it is. Yep.
than the border collie. The border collie's only affecting really what she's got, unless she goes around the whole herd.
Yep.
And it wouldn't work today because now them dogs could care less about barking. I mean, they're so used to them guard dogs like that.
Yep.
But
Well,
most of the time before, a barking dog, after the bark, usually came the bite.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the sheep were used
they
to
knew what was coming. And,
right.
Well, that's like in New Zealand, and any listeners from there, call in and correct, but there is, from what I understand of those guys, they use the Hunaways. It's a breeder dog, and they're a big, strong-looking dog, but they teach them a bark command. And they'll send them around, and I think every one of it's I've ever heard from is the New Zealanders with their dogs are good handlers and sheep, and there's no natural predators there. I think maybe birds, but like the big eagles, but so they don't have guard dogs, but they send them Hunaways around and they'll bark, and that's what they'll use to still gather their sheep. They still use that system, what you just said. I don't know if they clap, or I've never been around it, but they'll use the bark as because sheep seem to react better and bunch together.
Everybody hears the bark.
Yeah.
The border collie, the only one that's
What you're saying, Travis? You can bark at 100 cows, but you can only bite one.
Yes, exactly. Who told me that? That was funny. Yeah, I can bite one
I
cow.
thought that was your technique.
No, it was someone that told me. Yeah,
Right.
And is like, oh yeah, I can. He can only bite one, but he can bark at 100.
Yeah.
Right.
And but yeah, that's funny.
But it's amazing what you learn too, going back to dogs. For I don't know, in the mid lambing time, we never took a dog. We let one guy have a dog that ran the drop herd. What we call the drop herd is the pregnant ewes. And you graze them and they lamb and fall out the back, right?
Yep.
But so anyway, I had a bunch of Chileans working for me, and they were pretty aggressive, and some of them made some pretty neat dogs. But anyway, this Chilean one time told me, he says, you're the boss, and I don't understand why you won't let us have a dog around these ewes and lambs. And I said, you didn't run off of the thing and quit all the twins and quit this and quit that and do this and do that. Well, anyway, one day he finally talked me into letting us try, and he had a little old border collie female dog that he was really proud of. And he got that dog so she'd stay right by his feet. And he wouldn't attack. I mean, she was totally under control. And afterwards, it made sense. I have rode up into coyotes trying to take a lamb away from a bunch of sheep. And as sneaky and as quiet as that coyote's acting, the rest of the herd ain't even riled up. And you'd think that everything just blows up when the coyote walked in there. But they're not. But that coyote will stalk them and monkey and stalk them and monkey, and pretty quick that sheep will take it and it'll do this and it'll do that. Anyway, so this guy, he told me one day, he says, yesterday, I says, my dog come with me and I didn't have a way. I wasn't taking it back to camp. But he says, I got a sheep that I need to catch. The lamb's not nursing. And he says, I put that lamb on the end of my sheep hook. And that dog, and I just made that dog walk out there, and that dog's stomping her feet. And I'm pulling that lamb, and that sheep's seeing that dog, and she comes up to her lamb, and he says, we roped 80% less sheep after he
Showed you that.
we started doing that. I only let select people do it, including myself and a couple other guys. But we used to have to rope almost every sheep because they're just scared of you. But when there's a dog there and their baby, it's just like a cow and a calf. I mean, they're going to protect that lamb. You bring that dog kind of close to that lamb, and you're a good guy with a sheep hook. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I haven't. I've seen the sheep hooks. I've never used one on a sheep.
Right. That's a slick tool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a neat tool. And it's quiet. Rope, you usually always have to make at least one swing.
Yep.
And that motion has already moved her.
Yep.
But where a sheep hook, you're just sitting there and it's like,
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Till you miss one.
Yep.
I mean, you miss one once and it's just like roping.
Yep. And then they're wise to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's one thing I do think is neat, and I don't understand actually, is when you are docking lambs and castrating, can you tell us how they do it? Because I'm new into the sheep, and we've talked about taking their tails off, and you say don't put a band on them. I'll show you how, and also castrating them. How like I know it's a big deal in the Bask culture how they do this, and
You're talking about biting their nuts.
yeah,
But it's not. It's a Basque culture, I think, but it's not a. I mean, everybody done that.
Yeah, they
most
did it in
range sheep-
Utah.
Yeah. To me, a knife cut and pulling them with your teeth. The only reason you're pulling them with your teeth is speed.
is that
Slipperiness.
castrating them?
You castrate them.
Yep.
Yeah. You pull them. Basically, you're cutting the thing out, and if you try to pull one out and pull the other one out, they're slippery, and you slip off one or two times.
Yep.
And you cut the tip off, and they're sitting there right like that, and you just grab them, and then you put your finger behind them too, but your teeth are kind of guiding them, and it's just it's done.
Done fast.
But if you cut it and went over there, and then you're trying to get it lower so you can get below the curve, so it's not slipping off, it's
So it's a speed
it's
thing.
a tenth of a second compared to 3 or 4 seconds per lamb, and you're doing 1,500 lambs today.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of seconds.
Yep.
And then,
Okay.
then we learned years ago. When I was a kid too, we used to have hot irons, and I see still some people have gas knives and different things. I don't sit to each his own. It's a ranch, but there is nothing like twisting tails.
Okay.
I mean,
How's that go when you're doing that?
well, so on a tail, before you used to cut a tail and you'd hold a tail like this and cut it from inside out.
Okay.
All the veins are on the inside of that tail. So this is the tail. All the veins are in here. Here's the rectum.
Okay.
This is the outside of the tail. All these veins are here. So the first thing that knife does is makes a straight cut. There's 3 main veins in that tail. Well, now that sharp cut, they just spray blood like crazy. We now take our knife, grab the tail, and break the skin, half, 3/4 of the back of the skin, and you twist that tail. And we try to, after you do it so long, you'll hit the joint. We'll cut the skin right at the joint that we want the tail to come off. Mm-hmm. And then you just pop that, and this side of the tail rips the skin. And them lambs won't bleed 3 drops. They'll drip a couple drops or something, but hardly ever any sprayers. You know how we used to dock lambs and be covered in blood. The peoples were covered in blood because you're holding like this, and the guy cuts the tail off, sprays the people holding them, sprays the dockers.
Yep.
We hardly ever.
So you just cut from the top, go through the first joint of the tail.
We don't go through any joints. We just cut the skin, break the skin. That's all we're doing is breaking the skin. And then just you kind of put your hand on the lamb because you don't yank it, but it's out of the piece of sand. But you'll pop it, and it'll pop right off.
And they don't bleed, huh?
Yeah, we have tons of pictures of that.
That's really neat.
But the pulling them with your teeth is
Speed.
just the speed thing.
Yeah.
It ain't the glory. It ain't nothing. It's just all about
Efficiency.
you're going to
Efficiency.
do a lot of lambs, and it is so fast.
Yeah.
Somebody said that they might be around too, but then you got to set it. So you got your knife, you cut the tip off, and there's some kind of a special plier now that'll kind of do what you do with your teeth. It clamps it or grabs it, so then you can rip them out with your pliers.
You're
Well, now
just
you
being
got to
a
go to the
pansy
tail,
at that
so you got to
point.
set your pliers down or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense because like I just haven't seen it. I haven't been around.
I got
it.
a solution for that.
Now well, you guys
He's
wake
got lambs out there.
Yeah, you guys.
next May on Memorial Day weekend.
Yep.
I might owe you because you come done this podcast, but
Yeah,
last.
I think you owe me a docking for this.
Yep.
I'll do
We'll
it.
do a podcast on docking.
Yeah, I will.
I'll show up and video it.
Yeah, I will. I think it was last year. You're like, yeah, come on out. Oh, I think it was last year, and
Well, yeah, we've
like-
only been buddies for about that long.
Yeah.
2 years or whatever.
and then you said, yeah, I'll probably leave about 3 or 4 in the morning. I said, oh, I'm actually pretty busy, Pete. I got things going on. But no, that's cool. And my next question is big take home message for someone that's out there, hasn't been around dogs, and they listen to your episode and they're like, all right, he's a working man, I'm going to get one. What would be your tip for first things they do getting into these dogs?
Well, I guess my first tip would be come to somebody like Travis and learn first. Don't have to be trial and error so much. It's a lot of my stuff was
Find someone that's
find someone,
Yep.
get some understanding, and then I don't know. There's there's so many good dogs. I mean, almost every dog now is. I mean, yeah, there are duds, but now, in my opinion, and you know better than I do, but the duds used to be the duds outweighed the good, and now I think it's rare that you get a dud.
Yeah, you're thinking them more are coming.
I mean, it might be more aggressive. It might be more, less aggressive. Don't have the bite. Some have bites. Some have, different things. But
That don't mean it's a dud.
that don't mean it, and that don't mean it's a dud. I mean, there's a lot of. If I only had my ranch sheep and the way I handled them, I'd almost wished I had a dog. But there might be a time when you want that dog to bite too. That goes back to the saying: if you got a dog that you can control a bite, you don't have to use it. She might not bite nothing for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But one day,
Yep.
I need just that little extra help. I don't need the extra help to tear its face off. I don't need to tear her ear off. But I just need to. It's kind of like our parents. Once in a while, every so often, Dad had to kind
spank
of
it.
whack somebody once in a while. Well,
Yep.
that dog whacked that sheep or that cow on the end of the nose. It just keeps them honest.
Yep.
Kept us honest, and it'll keep that cow honest or
Yep.
that sheep honest or whatever it is. So
Yep.
yeah, and that makes sense.
for somebody that wants a dog, the first thing I think they need to do is go spend a lot of time with somebody like you guys.
Yeah.
Not
Go out and check it out and see.
Save them a little
check it
time
out
and
and
energy.
learn that and that's the other thing too. Just because I can do this, that don't mean you're going to be able to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Because even myself, I'm not going to stand here. I cannot do what you do.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I mean, I don't know if I could teach myself and
I bet
do
you
enough
could.
repetition that I can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, but right now in my state, I cannot do what you do. I cannot read that many things. I don't understand as much of it, like putting them in the corners. I mean, and now, yes, I do understand maybe more of the putting them in the corner, but that is all just discipline.
yeah. It really
Just
is.
sitting on the barrel. That's discipline,
Yeah,
A little self-control.
right?
and I think that's important is getting a discipline. But
And like Cindy now too, I try to do it pretty much all the time. I don't let her get out of the pickup unless I tell her to. I get home, Busy jumps out of the pickup. Cindy's sitting there. Why did she get out? I don't. Because you're not busy.
yeah, you haven't
not
earned-
busy.
You haven't earned that
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
And the other day, Busy didn't jump off the truck when I didn't want her to, and
Cindy did.
And Cindy did.
yeah, exactly.
So-
Busy knows.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah. Well, I always finish up, and if you don't have one, that's okay. But I always like a joke or a quote that you like using.
I usually got lots of them that come to mind with the occasion, but right now I don't know what that means.
That's what happens to everyone. So I'll put on Chance. What is a good joke or quote, Chance?
I don't have one. It's been so long since you asked that question. I haven't even thought about it.
Well, fair enough.
My biggest thing in life, though, is you treat, and I mean, we learn it in church, we see it in church, we do everything, but the whole thing in a nutshell is if you don't like it done to you, damn sure don't do it to somebody else.
Yep.
That is, if something hurts you, obviously it hurts somebody else. And if they even pretend like it didn't hurt, more than likely it did hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
That's a great quote.
Yep.
That's a good one.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Treat people how you want to be treated.
right. I mean, but still, too, though, is then on my side of the equation is I don't mind joking and playing. I can take jokes, but if we're serious, if I'm in a relationship where I'm respecting you, then I want to be respected.
Yes, sir.
I don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good words to live by.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
Yep.
it is.
Yep.
But it's
Well, that was like when I was calling you. I was like, I'm pretty sure you're very humble and you don't like being the big noter and talking about what you do. And I was like, I'm kind of sweaty arms. I'm a bit worried. I'm like, I better try to sweet talk this guy into coming because because I think there's a lot of value added from people hearing your experience and what you do. And I really appreciate you coming in
So I sure enjoyed the stories. It's good,
it's
good
great.
listening.
And I was getting nervous, like he's going to be great, but he's like a wild animal. You better you better approach him carefully.
Oh, I'm not that. You've been listening to too many of my friends. Everybody's always.
It's your lovely wife.
Yeah, well, poor thing. She's the greatest one. I got the best wife in the world for me, anyway, for sure. But I some days I don't give her due respect, especially when if we're working cows or working sheep or something, and we just don't. I think it happens to a lot of people.
Every ranch, every person that works got anything with their spouse.
It's it was fun, and when we were young, the kids were little, and we'd done a lot of 3 and 2 girls, me and 3 women, two kids and a wife, and our oldest daughter Andrea, and she's a good hardworking ranch girl too, but she's a lot like me, and Raymond and them, and we'd have a problem, and pretty quick I'm barking orders, and they start talking back. And, why do we always got to do it your way? And I was like, somebody else want to show me a way then? Or you guys just don't want to do it my way, but you don't come up with a solution. And then we get in these arguments, and poor little and Shiny, she's the youngest daughter. Then I'd be all amped up, and she would go, why won't you guys just leave him alone? Just leave him alone. You guys are agitating him. And that's pretty much what you guys are doing. Just pouring a little gasoline on the fire, and then you trying to put it out with a air compressor fire extinguisher instead of a fire extinguisher.
That's funny, but no, it's it is fun, and I remember going over to your house one time, and Rama, she cooked up a great big meal, and it was delicious. And your thing, you eat as much as you want, but you don't waste a thing on that goddamn plate. If you pick it on your plate, you're eating it. And I was like, and I went over there next time, and we had that lamb, and I'm not a big fan of lamb or mutton or anything. And Pete's like, you gotta try it. You gotta try it. And I remember that, and I was like, if I get this on my plate, I'm gonna be eating it. And it was delicious. I've never had it that good.
Was it wool sheep or was it hair sheep?
No, it was wool sheep.
Yeah, it was. I was thinking, I was happy to get.
I done it on purpose. I figured, man, a guy coming from Australia, these guys probably live 90% on
I ate too much, I guess.
And then come to find out, well, I'm not really a big fan of it. I went, oof, maybe we should have cooked something different.
Clean it up anyways.
Yeah. I was like,
I don't know if I told you all that. I might have told a story that entailed where you take, my dad used to have a saying too, quotes, take all you want, but eat all you take.
Yeah.
that was my dad's. We used to bring a lot of kids from town, and they'd come out there, and it used to be so funny. We brought a kid one time from town. We were eating bacon and eggs for breakfast, right? This kid's in there with a knife, and he's trying to separate the white from the red in the bacon.
What the hell?
Yeah, and he's got his knife out, and he's trying to get the white off the strips of red out of the center of the bacon to eat this bacon. Pretty quick when he's done, he had about 14 pieces of bacon because he could, and he's got this pile of the white part. And my dad, he was a new kid, so you guys better get to educating that guy on how to eat bacon. Why did you educate him, Dad? I said, you guys better get him educated. Yeah. So then I had to laugh. This kid is now a family friend and has been friends for years. We were at my mom and dad's 50th wedding anniversary, and we got barbecued lamb coming out the yin-yang, and here's Chris. I mean, he's got this lamb chop and the fat first, just grab a lamb chop and it's fat first. And I started laughing. I says, Chris, remember when he used to cut the white out of the red in the bacon? He goes, I know. Can you believe it?
No, that was funny. But yeah, no, I ate the lamb. That was the best lamb I've ever had.
I tell you what, the other day,
it was really good.
In the damn working pens, I had a 1-year-old ewe lamb hit the fence and break her neck out of pure stupidity. And what's funny about the story is my wife bought me these butcher books for Christmas that tells you the cuts, And she said, we need to butcher one of them sheep. I got you the books. We need to butcher one. And I said, why? She's like, because we're a bunch of damn hypocrites. We were out here raising sheep and we're not eating it. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I'll think about it. I'll get on it, Well, it wasn't the next day. The damn sheep runs and breaks its neck, So I cut its throat, gut it, freaking hang it, skin it, get it all ready, get it all carcassed, And I bring it to the house and I'm hanging it in the tree. And she's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I'm not ready for this. I said, you jinxed us. Remember, we're a bunch of hypocrites. So this son of a gun's going in your yard, in your tree, and here in about 7 days, we're cutting this bugger up. But she was a good sport. I hung it and we got the old book out and we was reading through it like a couple of amateurs, and we cut it up into steaks and roasts but we threw some in the frying pan and cooked it up that night, and it was delicious.
Oh yeah, and
it was delicious.
People talk about lamb, and lamb is really good. The only thing better than a lamb is a yearling.
Yeah,
you just got a little more. The meat's a little more like lamb is like veal. It's like people lamb stew. You make lamb stew, you make mush stew, as far as I'm concerned.
Gotcha.
But if you make a good stew out of a 2-year-old, 3-year-old wether, or old ewes, we used to eat a lot of old ewes around, bad bagged ewes, get fat involved.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a little tougher, but the flavor's great.
Yeah.
The biggest thing on butchering sheep is cleanliness.
Okay.
That's the whole thing in a nutshell. People, they handle that wool and then they handle the meat. A lot of people are punching them out and they grab the wool and this and that. You cannot be putting that dirty wool flavored lanolin grease.
Lanolin on the meat.
And we'll cut a lamb and get it started, and then we punch them all out. And the first thing, I've got a big piece of hide already skinned out to start. And you wash your hand in that hide, and you'll see all kinds of black on that you've got from touching that wool. You'll put all this dirt on that hide, and it's just like washing your hands in soap and water instead of you just wash it on that hide and then go to punching. But some people, you'll see them so black, and then they change hands, and they do something for a minute, and they just get all that dirt.
That's funny because I've heard a lot of people say, like, the wool sheep, it's hard because the meat tastes like the lanolin, and it's probably the way they're dang skinning it.
Right, but no, if you can keep it clean, that
makes a difference.
That's the whole thing in a nutshell.
Well, I don't have to worry about it. I got the hair sheep is what I got, and I mean, you got to worry about a piss load of hair all over the meat if you're not careful. You know what I mean?
Like a deer, huh?
Yeah. I had to do that. I had to be real careful that way, but I did fairly good. And then as soon as I got her all skinned out and ready, I took it over in the hose and washed every bit of hair I could find off of it. And
the hair, I don't know what you do there. We do then afterwards. I have a rag, like when I'm butchering in the fall, that all I ever do is rinse it out in hot water afterwards, but the grease still stays in it. But I'll wipe that sheep, because even hair sheep, all their legs, that black face hair and stuff, that's all hair.
Yep.
I take that, it's like an old dish drying towel or whatever, and get that in water, and then it gets greasy. But I'll rub that sheep down, and that greasy rag will grab every one of them hairs without ever sprinkling water on them.
Really?
Gotcha.
Just that greasy
Clings
rag,
to it. Clings
just
to it.
cling, and you stick it in water, rinse it out. If there's any dirt on your rag, then you rinse it all out. Then you just wipe that.
And it's got the oil to it.
And it's got that lanolin, or it's not lanolin because it's a back fat and the grease off the sheep. And then in that rag, it's a damp rag with that grease in it.
That's interesting. That's a good trick.
That'll suck that. That'll grab all that hair, just like them rollers that they roll on their thing with a sticky pad on them.
That's interesting to know. I'll have to use that. Because I plan on butchering some more because that was good eating. Right. And I mean, I got all the packages in the freezer now, but when that one's done, I'm going to do another one. It's good.
It sounds like Pete's got some stuff in the fall that he was plenty willing to supervise you do his.
Yeah, that way I can learn, huh? Yeah, I can get better real fast.
You got to get that over there.
I'm gonna watch you bite the nuts out, and I'll freaking do the butchering.
It doesn't sound as bad as I thought.
It's not. It's not.
And people think you're chewing them off and you're biting them off.
No,
you ain't doing nothing. All you're doing is
pinch it, hold them.
Something that you can hang on to them with.
Yeah, your fingers are slippery and your teeth get a grip on it, and it just
you can just get over
pops them right out.
The shape of a testicle, so you just get over the egg shaped over. And then we always help with our fingers too. We push the hide down, start it, and then right away we just grab the tails with the fingers and between your teeth and your fingers. And then you got them in your finger and you throw them in the pot.
Yep.
So you mentioned Lance Knutson a little while ago. Have you interviewed him?
Yeah, we did one 2 months back. A
few months ago,
with
yeah.
Lance. Yep.
He's I really like Lance.
That's a good guy.
He's a good guy, and I think he's very, very knowledgeable.
Yep.
You know,
He's a good stockman.
yeah,
Yep.
good stockman, good dogs, good.
Good all round. He's just a
Yeah,
hand.
I like Lance a lot.
So is
Yep.
his boy Tal. We visit with his young 14-year-old son, and he's handy than
His
most.
boy's coming up right.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's really
Absolutely.
good. So that was enjoyable, and the Utah guys really have kind of dropped the ball. We haven't really had any good
yes.
Utah guys around. It's just been Nevada coming in and just showing people how to get things done.
This is the first time I've come to Nevada and interviewed somebody.
That's not true.
Roy Cox.
Lance Knutson.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Dang it. He caught me. He caught me. But
So-
it's a little more rare than what he makes it sound.
Yeah, but more value added.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
dang sure.
well, thank you very much, Pete, for your time. I really appreciate it.
I guess I should thank you guys for having me.
No,
Hey, thanks for having an opinion that I was worth interviewing.
oh,
no,
man,
you-
that's dang good
I
It was
stories.
good.
I didn't consider myself to be that valuable.
Well, I can assure you, we both learned something today. That's for
did.
dang sure.
Yep. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
All righty, catch us in the next one. You can catch all our episodes of Stock Dogs Unleashed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Don't miss an episode. Hit that follow button. Without you guys showing your support, we can't keep growing. So join us every week for insights, laughs, and all things ranch life. But seriously, hit that follow button.